Greetings. I am Christopher Logan Hilt, and tonight on season 3 finale of Joe Takes, we are going to be looking at a ton of Dreadnoks. So if you guys are Dreadnok fans, because we're going to be looking at figures, we're going to be talking Dreadnoks, and we're just going to have a Dreadnok night. We got lots of stuff to look at. So let's kick things off with a little Dreadnok music and the intro, so I can get ready as the G.I. Joe gamer.
I am not a shining light, a beacon of hope. I am not the hero that you're holding out for. I am not your salvation, a saint upon your altar. I am the opposite of all that, as far from them as you can imagine.
Mature content warning. On Logan's Joe Takes, strategic commentary may include strong language, heated opinions, classified references. Time to call in the Joes. Opposing forces may attempt audio interference. Logan's Joe Takes. Mission begins now.
Logan the G.I. Joe Gamer reporting for duty. Are we ready for some Dreadnok action? This is my original Chameleon that the original Zartan came with. He's a deluxe figure. Also came with this little box. It has this little plastic thing that was like a tow cable that you could attach to right here. This little peg hole. I have it somewhere, but I still haven't been able to find it. It's in my stuff somewhere. But yeah, you could just take this all apart and put it in here. And you know, they did come out with another little one that came with one of the 25th anniversary figures, which we've taken a look at. I have got so many Zartan figures, it's unreal to look at. Let's see what we can have for some tunes in the background. All right, so of course we got to look at the original Zartan. Now I'm not going to look at any of the accessories because I did that in their individual videos, at least the ones I did look at. I found so many of my Dreadnok figures that it's unreal, so I've got them all assembled together for you to look at. Now this is the one it was on the very second Joe take, and I had the mishap of breaking his ankle off on a G.I. Joe battle stand. So that, that's not happening again. So I've decided to just pick him up and take a look at him. Now, this is the very first Zartan figure and very first Dreadnok that ever came out. Now, I'm pretty sure they planned on bringing the Dreadnoks out in 1984 like they did with Zartan, but they didn't. They waited until 1985, which is a good thing because they needed more figures that year for Cobra. Now, I want to set him down over here, and we're going to look at the second Zartan figure that came out in the vintage line, and it was with the Ninja Force. And I have to say, I wasn't really impressed at the time. They do have a classified version of this coming out. It's on pre-order right now, and I will likely pick it up because the classified figure looks really good. But this is what we got back in the day here. Yeah, and these knives can slide into these little holes right here. You had two knives, and they were on the front of his leg, like, every time he walked, it would like hinder his movement, and so that it wasn't a good design. But on the classified version, it's on the side, and the knives, you can grab them. It's pretty cool. So they've got it set up. Hello, Bud Files. We got Bud Files in the house. We got Jess Laws in the house. Hello, Jess, and we got Cool Gamer. Hello, Cool Gamer. Rocking with me tonight, it seems like. So I hope everybody is doing well, and I meant to shout you out, but I'm just so excited to talk about these figures because, like I said, I got a bunch to go over tonight. So what I'm going to do is, one character at a time, I'm going to show you the figures, and then so I can switch things out to the next character, I will play their file card, and if there's a lot, I'll probably play a music video too, like for Zartan. After this, I got to move some stuff around to start the next one. So I've got a song for Zartan and his file card after showing you these figures. And we'll talk about Zartan a little bit. He's the master of disguise. Never was a ninja. I don't know why they were including the Ninja Force, but it was interesting. But yeah, I'm showing him off a little bit extra because they do have a brand new figure coming out. Now, in the early 2000s, I think actually in the year 2000, they came out with this version of Zartan, and it was pretty cool. He had like saw viper legs, and then I can't remember whose chest they gave him or arms, but the head was very similar based off the original mold, as that soft plastic for the cowl, and it wasn't bad. This wasn't a bad figure, and they came in 2 packs at the time. I can't remember who he came with. And then they had the Valor. Let's see, I think it was Spy Troops that this one came with, and yeah, this was Spy Troops, the Spy Troops Zartan, and a little too much chest, I guess, but whatever. I guess here you go, ladies, little extra chest on the Zartan figure there. But no, this one wasn't bad. The design on some of those spy troops was okay, and he's natural for the spy troops line because he's a master of disguise. So in Valor versus Venom, though, it came out with this one, and it came out a lot more in that time period. There were more figures than any ever before. I think in those 5 years that they were doing Spy Troops and Valor versus Venom, I think they came out with more figures than they did in the entire original line. Not sure about vehicles, but they did come out with a lot of those too. But yeah, this Zartan was kind of a Tunnel Rat figure that they just repainted to look like Zartan. So I don't know. He didn't come with Tunnel Rat, so that was weird. Now in the 25th anniversary, they came out with this Zartan on card, which is pretty cool. And I do have a carded example of it, but I'm not going to bother. With all that we're going through, I'm not going to bother showing the carded figures. I did that in the individual episodes. Now, I have a Joe take for every Dreadnought I have, except for Nagahide, which in the classified series, not all the original Dreadnoughts, the vintage ones, because I've got a lot of those to show you too. That there isn't a classified version yet, so I'm going to show you those. And I do have a Thunder Machine, but my Thunder Machine is thrashed, so I wasn't able to get it out of my storage area. And also the air skiff for Zanzibar. I'm not going to be showing that either because it's just a little piece of crap, really. But what was cool about it was it had a spear and a hammer, and I do have those. And I'm not going to show all. Like I said, I'm not going to do the accessories because if and when they bring out a Zanzibar, I will be looking at all that stuff in their individual videos. Now, they came out with another Zartan in a multi-pack. And I think this was very cartoon-based. Because in the cartoon, when he'd get angry, his chest plate would glow and it would make a lightsaber noise, straight out of Star Wars. Vroom, vroom. Because they had the rights to Ewoks. The same company was making Ewoks that was making G.I. Joe. So they could use those sound effects. And so it was kind of neat. And yeah, his chest plate would glow, it would make a lightsaber noise for whatever reason. And so they made a figure of him with his glowing chest, and you can kind of see through it. It's kind of cool. It was an interesting concept, and I'm glad they did one, but they made a lot of Zartan figures. Now, I've got another one from the 25th anniversary line that is really cool that I'm going to show. It's my favorite one. It came with this big Cobra 7-pack, if I remember right. Or 5-pack? Was it 5-pack? Because they did a Dreadnought 7-pack, and I got that too. So we're looking at all those guys. But for Rise of Cobra, they came out with a couple of Zartan figures. And, this is cool, but he didn't have his look in the movie. And then he became the president, so, he never really had the cowl and the black mask that he wears. But he did. This came with another 5-pack special of Attack on the Pit. And there was like 4 other Joes in that pack. And so it's an interesting version of Zartan based off of Arnold Vosloo, the actor who played him in the movie. Oh, in the 2 movies, actually, Rise of Cobra and Retaliation. If I remember everything right. Now, like I said, I'm going to look at this Zartan last because the last figure for each one of the original line that I'm going to look at. And I got 3 that came out after as well. There's only 2 of the official Dreadnoks that were released that I do not own, and we'll be talking a little bit about them. I have file cards videos to play for you, and then I have one that is special that I created, and we'll be talking about him at the last there before I give my take on Dreadnoks. But I'm going to put each of the last ones on a motorcycle because Dreadnoks ride. And the reason why his leg is sticking out because when you stand him up, put a leg down, then it helps to stand up because these figures are possibly a little too big. The 4-inch ones for these, the 3-inch, the 3 and 3/4 inch ones were really good on these bikes. The 4-inch ones, some of them really good, and other ones a little too heavy. But I love this bike for Zartan. I love these by Maestro. That's right there on the license plate, so if you can see it. I don't know, maybe it's too close. But yeah, that's the company that puts these bikes out. Now, they do make some for in the same the 112 scale or 1/6 scale. I can't remember what the scale is, but the classified series, the 6-inch figure scale. And my kid I borrowed one from them, and so I kind of have one that I've been using for my GI Joe Lady Bloodstrike movie that I've been making, and I still got to do the finale, and I got it all scripted up, and I'm ready, but I just got to have the time to film. I'm doing so much stuff lately, it's crazy. But yeah, so this is Zartan on a motorcycle. Now, I want to show them all on a motorcycle, because how can you have Dreadnoks if you don't show Dreadnoks riding?
Always on the move, rolling down the road, nothing to prove. As I cut some clean, never will tear into your spleen. Torch will burn you alive, but you will not survive. The thunder machine will run you down, pressure will crush you with a frown. Monkey wrench will blow you apart, while Santa will rob you without heart. Dreadnought!
So Dreadnoks ride. Okay, they have their motorcycles and they ride. They're a motorcycle gang. So I'm surprised that Hasbro didn't take advantage of the fact that they got these motorcycles that they could put out, and they could have put out their own line specifically for Dreadnoks, and they would have sold, because people love bikes. And so that is all of the from 1982 to 2000, about 16. But these ones came out in 2009. So those are the latest ones I had. They did have a few after that, but I wasn't really collecting. I was really working, and I got some of them, but there was a Pursuit of Cobra line that I got, and I got this Zartan figure for that, but I converted it into a Raptor figure because it really didn't look like Zartan. But anyway, it was okay, but it looked more like a Raptor figure. So now it's time to talk the classified Zartan. Now, I have gone over this figure in his own video, and I only have one out of the 3 classified figures for Zartan that they have. Like I said, they got a 4th one coming out, but they had the original, which I have, and then they had one that was convention exclusive only. That's really expensive if you try to buy it in the aftermarket. And that was the Master of Disguise Zartan that came with all these different masks and a wheel. It was a really cool deluxe set. You could really you turn the wheel on the box, it would change the mask on Zartan. It was pretty cool. And I wish I had that, but I do not. And then they had one for the retro line, which I missed as well. So the retro line wasn't as popular when it first came out as it is now. Now they put like 5 of them out at least every 6 months. So there we go. I got 20 of them sitting on my wall in front of me. So, and none of them are Dreadnoks. They haven't done any of the Dreadnoks yet, but there's Zartan. I love this pic with him and his mask. And then you've got, there's the back of the box, but this is the box he came in, and I got all these accessories in here. And like I said, I went over these in his video, and Joe takes number 2, but here is the classified Zartan, the very first one, and this is still my favorite. I mean, I like the other ones; they look pretty cool. The other thing on the Master of Disguise one, he had a color change thing, like the original Zartan does. If you put Zartan in the sun, he turns color. This one, I don't know if it still works because it's old plastic, but I'm not going to try it. And then that one, you put it in the freezer and it changed colors. So I don't know, but they tried something different, and it was. It's still a really cool figure, and I want to get it, but it's different colors. But I love the black and the brown, and Zartan just looks so cool like that. Unless you do this, and then it's like, well, okay, that's Zartan. So that is Zartan. He's the leader of the Dreadnoks. Like I said, we'll get more into my opinions of how the Dreadnok organization works. I separate them into what I like to call coveys, like witches. Zorana separated them that way, and they ride in 3-packs. Three, because originally there were 3 Dreadnoks, so I like to do it that way. So like I said, we'll get into it. I got to bring up my file and read it direct or even show it to you. So next up is Zartan. It's Zartan's family. So we've got Xandar. Let's see, who am I going to look at next? I'm going to do them in order. So I'm going to look at Buzzer next. The 3 original Dreadnoks. So we're gonna be doing that. So I'm gonna change modes here and switch around to the next figure. In the meantime, I've got a Zartan song for you. This is gonna take me a bit, and I've got his file card video, and those are short. They're like less than 3 minutes. So here we go. Zartan. Shadows of Zartan by Brenda Wyatt, and then FTH codename Zartan. And hey, before I go, I gotta say, hey Zilla, hello, Superior Cyber Godzilla. Hey Zilla, it's good. Welcome in. I hope you like the Dreadnoks, because that's what we're talking tonight. All right, let's do this file card and this music video, and then I'll be back with Buzzer.
Desert sands and hidden tracks, undercover stealth attacks, voices whisper in the dark. Zartan's wake is most dark.
Master of disguise, Dreadnok Commander, real name unconfirmed, birthplace best guess, Nice, France. Primary specialty, Master of disguise and infiltration. Secondary specialty, espionage and sabotage. Zartan, codename Zartan. Zartan can alter his skin color and wield to blend in with his environment. He is also a master of makeup and disguise, a ventriloquist, a linguist, an acrobatic contortionist, and a practitioner of several mystic martial arts. Very little is known of his background and origins, but most security agencies agree that he must have had European military academy training. Captured Cobra documents revealed reports listing him to be as lethal as a two-headed rattler disguised as a Gaza snake. Documents. Psychological profile. Submitted by Psychout. Extreme paranoid dissociative identity disorder grows into various multiple personalities to such an extent that the original personality becomes buried and forgotten. My personality changes as often as my looks, and they're both bad. There's nothing more amusing than becoming somebody else and then asking your friends what they think about you. I can be anyone, anywhere. You will never know that you are talking to me unless I wish it.
I welcome in Danny, and I hope you enjoy things. I'm talking Dreadnoks like crazy tonight. I like to give my Joe takes just like from the hip, from the hilt, just on the fly and just chat about the characters and the figures. And tonight we're, like I said, I'm doing the sub team of Dreadnoks. I normally just focus on one or two characters, but tonight the entire sub team. This is my season 3 finale. Joe takes will be back in late June. I'm going to be taking a little bit of a break because I've got a big summer lineup that I'm going to be doing Joe takes every week all summer long. So welcome in. If you're watching on the GI Joe Gamer channel, this program is broadcast simulcast on both Logan the GI Joe Gamer and From the Hilt. Both of those are my channels. From the Hilt is kind of a group. There's my wife, the Tiger. We got Dick Pendragon, Red Power Ranger Fan 27. Jess Laws hangs out with us a lot. A lot of our other friends. We have a group of folks that we like to call the Fridays FTH players that hang out with us. But if you're on the GI Joe Gamer channel and you want to join the main chat, hop over. I got a link in the chat at the top. It's pinned, and you just pop over to the other channel. Give me a like and come on over to the main chat, and we're talking Dreadnoks. All right. Next up, that was Zartan. Now, Zartan's the leader. He's like the Dreadnok. He's like, to me, he's my favorite Dreadnok. I do have a favorite Dreadnok, but Zartan is one of my favorite Cobra characters, hands down. He's in my top 3. My favorite is Cobra Commander, and then I go back and forth between Zartan and the Baroness. They're my 3 favorite Cobras. And tonight it's definitely Zartan because we're talking Dreadnoks. All right, we're gonna kick it off here with the regular Dreadnoks with Buzzer alphabetically. We're gonna do them, but year by year when they came out, got them all lined up. We got Buzzer. This is the vintage Buzzer, and like I said, I'm gonna do I did accessories in his own video. You remember G.I. Joe toys when you were a little kid? Oh, yeah, I still have all mine, dude. I love them. I get the new ones, too, the classified ones, and we're going to be looking at a lot of those, too. So, yeah, I am the G.I. Joe Gamer, and that's what I do, at least over here on the G.I. Joe Gamer channel. But on From the Hill, we do a lot. We do music. We do music on the G.I. Joe Gamer channel, too, but mostly that kind of stuff. But this figure is really old. It's from 1985, and I didn't actually buy this one in the store. I traded for it. I used to do some trades as a kid to get the other figures, and that's my vintage Buzzer. Now they didn't make a lot of Buzzer figures. I forgot. I was saying there's only 4 Zartans, but there's actually 5 because they had one come out with that other convention pack where they're dressed up in the Cold Slither outfits from the cartoon. So that was pretty cool. And I don't have that one, but we will be taking a look at. I wish I had that set. That set's sweet, and they still have it available on Hasbro Pulse. And if I can get my hands on it, I probably will. So let's get some Dreadnought jams here in the background. All right, so I do have one 25th anniversary buzzer that came carded. I do still have it on card, but like I said, I've got so much going on with the figures tonight. I'm not gonna bust out the carded figures tonight like I normally do for each individual character. I am pretty sure that I did on his individual video. But if I didn't, I may do just a carded figures video of all my carded figures. That would be kind of cool. Joe take on carded figures. Ooh, it's an idea for next season. But yep, there's my buzzer. He came with this really cool chainsaw. Yeah, but like I said, check out Buzzer's video. Check them all out. I got lots of Dreadnought videos. The only one I don't have of the Dreadnoughts classified figures that I'm showing tonight is Nagahide, which I have him in the rotation already, coming up in season 4. So there we go. Now I would have his glasses on him, but they are notoriously do not stay on the head, so I do not want to lose them. So they are in his foot locker in his classified box, which I will be showing next. And I normally show the box first, but we're just doing them however we feel tonight. But I thought this was a pretty good, version of Buzzer. Now his glasses are cool if they'd stay on his head. And in order to film it, I actually in the movie I'm making, I actually had Clutch pop him in the face and break his shades so that through the rest of the movie he's not wearing shades. So it was pretty cool. Now here's the box, and he came with some cool stuff. The new chainsaw is pretty cool. This is he's number 105. Zartan was, where's my box? Zartan was number 23 in the series. I should have showed you. I'm sorry. Now he's number 105, so they're almost to 200. You're cool. Can't get warm for some reason. You're cold. I'm sorry, Jess. You know what? We are warm here. It got up to 79 degrees here. It haven't been that high. Hasn't been over 60 since winter started here in Utah. So yeah, there's his box, and the side art for all these. Not all, but most of the ones coming out now that are super cool since 100. So I'm gonna set this aside. That's the Buzzer figures I have. So I'm gonna play his file card video, and then we'll talk about Ripper. So hope you guys are ready for this ride, because I got lots of file cards to share with you on video that I make. I make these little file card videos, Danny. I hope you're enjoying them. And if you're still with us, I hope you're enjoying Joe Takes, because this is just the beginning, because I still want to talk about the sub team, and I give my take at the end. And got music videos to share with you a little later, and we're just going to hang out and listen to some Dreadnought music. I'm going to play my Joe Takes 77. Got lot on Joe Takes 77, the promo video I made. And so that's where we're at. Let me see. I brought these out of order because I was going to do them differently. I forgot to change them up, but all right, we're going to jump right into Buzzer's file card, and then I'll be right back because I'll swap it out for Ripper.
G.I. Joe is the code name for America's daring, highly trained special mission force. Its purpose, to defend human freedom against Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world. Code name Buzzer. Dreadnought Chainsaw Specialist. Dick Blinken or Richard Blinken Smythe. Birthplace Cambridge, England. Specialty and MO or modus operandi. Demolitions secondary specialty. Civil disturbances! scavenger of the swamps, Buzzer can cut through steel, wrought iron and any metal except almond-tooth chainsaw. Buzzer was an extreme left-wing Cambridge sociology don who went to Australia to research the biker gang phenomenon, only to be transformed into the very subject of his research. Years of intellectual displeasure caused repressed psychotic anger, manifested in an intense desire to chainsaw apart the expensive gewgaws of Dankalocha society. Cobra Commander knows I can't read. As a former college student, this is clearly a lie for the benefit of his fellow Dreadnoks. Say your prayers, mate! Buzzer to gung-ho. The Marines' response: now I lay you down to sleep! Now get down there and see if we got any prisoners.
Sorry about the weather you're having there, Jess. Like I said, it's been really nice here the last couple of days. Today, especially, I mean, it's got really warm, but it's gonna. The weather says it's gonna get cold this weekend. All right, get some tunes on again because some more Dreadnought jams. But here is Ripper. Oh my goodness, I traded for this one too originally. The only one I bought in the stores in the original was Torch, and he was one of the first 7 G.I. Joe figures I ever bought. So as a 15-year-old, I started actually collecting G.I. Joe, switched from Star Wars to He-Man to G.I. Joe, and once I hit G.I. Joe, that was it, man. These figures were so much better. Not that I don't like the other figures, it's just, yeah. I sold all those to get some more G.I. Joes at some point, but that's Ripper. Now, I have got 2 Ripper figures. Yeah, this one's first. This one was a Collector Club exclusive before they started really making them super nice, like in the classified style. And so this was the second Ripper I got. And you know what? This one might have come. No, the other one did. Yeah, this was the Collector's Club exclusive that I ordered through the mail. And this is an interesting Ripper. But I don't know, Sam, he's got a pistol there, but it's molded on. It looks like you can take it out, but you can't. Or maybe you can. Let me see. Let's see. Nope, it's definitely molded on. Boy, some of them you can, some of them you can't. And on the older ones you couldn't. Some of these you could. Not this one, so I'm going to put him right back in the bag. Just go ahead and set him out of the way right now. And we'll take a look at the 25th anniversary second carded Ripper that came with a comic pack. Or this might have been the one that came with on the card. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it was this one. I know this was the carded one because the one that came with a comic 2-pack with Torch was a lot better. Had a day of feeling weird, random thoughts making me angry, feeling twitchy and shaky. Don't know why Insanity Med didn't help. Eating didn't help. Oh, I'm sorry, Jess. Well, hopefully you can hang out tonight, cool down, warm up, not cool down, but warm up. I'm cooling down, and maybe your mood will improve. Now this one, yeah, his knife in the back does come out. Let me see if I can play around with it a little bit. Nope, I'm just my imagination. It was all in my imagination. But yeah, this is a pretty cool Ripper figure. But I think the one that came with the comic 2-pack, and I'm pretty sure that's how it was. I'm pretty sure this was the carded one. Because I was never really happy with the Ripper that came on card because it didn't look like the original. But the one I've got on the motorcycle does. Got him on his own motorcycle. Got the green match Ripper, really cool. And the 25th anniversary Ripper actually sits on these bikes really well. And so there's my 25th anniversary Ripper. I thought it was pretty cool. Now, I hope you did too. Put the other Ripper over here. My vintage one. Oh no, that's right. I'm sorry. I compare them like I do the other ones, so you can see. Now, before I do that, though, I'm going to show the box for Ripper. He's number 102 in the series. And arguably, I didn't really care much for Ripper until this figure came out. I wasn't a big Ripper fan. But I got to tell you, this figure changed my mind completely on this character. And this is hands down the best Dreadnought figure they've made thus far. Now, they've made some really cool ones, but the way they did this, and these glasses stay on really well. And Buster came out after him, so I don't know what their deal was. They had the formula. I don't know why they didn't. It's finally starting to get better. I just feel like complaining. No worries, Jets. That's, you know, it's a safe space. We're all hanging out, having a good time. Here's the classified Ripper, and yeah, this knife comes on out. I love the grip. Because we're not really. I'll go over his accessories. You got a pistol. You get the hand out of the way so you can see the pistol. But man, these classified figures are sweet. But this, even my favorite Dreadnought, which is Torch, he's coming up next, which is awesome. Wasn't as good as this particular Ripper. These glasses do come off. Torches do not. Torch came out after Buzzer, so he looks like Mr. T. Kinda, yeah. And back in the day, that was a popular look. So, you know, but he's definitely a Caucasian dude. But you know, there he is in all his glory. Wow, rip up. Now, like I said, I'm gonna show you side by side here. I don't know if I did that with Buster, but whatever. We're just showing figures off. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. I love these figures. Hope you guys are enjoying taking a look at them. We're going to move right along to Torch. Play the file card for Ripper for you, and I'll get set up for Torch. Let's have some fun. More Dreadnoks on the way, my friends.
Dreadnoks! Code name Ripper, Dreadnought Cutter, file name Harry Nod, birthplace Grim Cape, Tasmania, primary specialty demolitions, secondary specialty civil disturbances, specialty and MO or modus operandi. Edged weapons and cutting tools is known throughout the swamps for using his blade like a cross between a fireman's axe and a can opener to unlock gates and crack safes. There are devils in Tasmania, and Ripper is probably the meanest of them all. Was expelled from nursery school for extorting candy from his schoolmates and spent most of his adult life in various correctional institutions. He is a professional criminal motivated by greed and a malignant dislike for the niceties of civilization, except for motorcycles. It ain't true that I hate everything. That's a load of rubbish. I like grape soda and chocolate covered donuts. Don't I? Come to Papa, baby! Code name.
All right. Rip. All right, it's time for my favorite Dreadnought. I don't know why. Probably because it was the first one I bought. I have a lot of people have a tendency to do that. One of the first figures they buy ends up being their favorite. I know a lot of people are Flash is their favorite, and they haven't done a classified version of him yet. You know, I hear a lot of people talking about Flash and wanting Flash in the classified, and you know, it's my opinion they should do a 2-pack. Flash and Grand Slam. They're the last two 1983 figures for G.I. Joe and Cobra that hasn't come out yet. But here's Torch. They gave him 2 guns, man, and I'm looking at the classified figure because I'm rolling and I don't care, and I forgot to grab the box. Put it over here. We're just rolling. But here is the vintage. Look at that. This figure is badass too, but that Ripper figure is just incredible. They knocked it out of the park and gave me a better respect for the Ripper character. So I could even do the voice for him during my movie. But anyway, yep. Yeah. I don't try to do some of the other British accents and stuff, but Ripper's voice is so much like Cobra Commander's because they were both done by Chris Waddam, and I can do that Cobra Commander voice really well. But anyway, it's the vintage torch, and like I said, I bought this guy on card in 1985. All three of the original Dreadnoks came out in 1985. They are in the style of the 1984 figures because in 1985. All the new figures came out with a ball joint, and none of the Dreadnoks have that. So I'm guessing originally they were going to come out in 1985, but didn't. Just like Tool Booth. He came with the Bridge Layer Toss Across. He actually came out in 1985 as a series exclusive, but then regular release in 1985. So he doesn't have the ball joint either for the 1985 year. But here it was the first 25th anniversary one, and I don't think they made a torch in between there. I got a lot of, that's possible. I could look it up on YoGio.com. That lists all the vintage figures and all the ones that came out in the 2000s and all the 25th anniversary, all the way from 82 to like 2017. So yeah, it's a fantastic website and resource. But I didn't really care for this one. The look for him, just like Ripper, and it might be backwards on Ripper, but this definitely was the carded torch because he's my favorite. That's why I remember. And I got in this bike because it's got flames, and this is a bigger, heavier bike, so it works actually better with the modern 25th anniversary. This is the one that came with the comic 2-pack and on his back. Oh yeah, there you go. I'm pretty sure that says Melbourne Maulers. That was his original gang that he was in, Motorcycle Club. They're not called gang, but whatever. But so I've already paired up the classified and then the original. We've already done that comparison. But we're gonna take a look at the box for Torch, and we're gonna just roll however the hell we roll today. I love that artwork for Torch on the side. Yeah, on these newer ones, they have the window packaging, but they don't have artwork for the character on the front. I don't like that, but that's how they're doing it now. And they've done a lot of them that way, and I think that's the way they're going to roll. And they can put the art on the front because they do have some like that they did for a while. There's Torch, and that's going to take us to Torch's final card. All right, let's do this. I do have a song for Torch called "Burn It Down," but I'm not going to play that one. Maybe later if you guys request it. It's a cool song, but it's death metal, and I'm just not feeling that tonight. So let's do this. We got Torch coming at you. All right, Torch.
Dreadnoks! Codename! Torch! Dreadnought Flamethrower! File name! Tom Winken! Birthplace! Burtony Bay, New South Wales, Australia! Primary specialty! Flamethrower! Secondary specialty! Infantry! Specialty and modus operandi! Works with oxyacetylene torch as a general cutter, mostly on remodeling stolen cars and occasional safe crackings, scavenges the swamps for fun and profit. Subject was remanded to Borstal, Australian for reform school. At age 14 escaped and went to sea in the merchant marine, where he learned the use of the cutting torch. Torch is an illiterate, unrepentant thug whose penchant for sudden and unexpected violence is matched only by the utter depth of his stupidity. Destroy the foundation, and the rest comes tumbling down. I like the look in their eyes when I bonks them.
All right. Torch. Like I said, my favorite Dreadnought, that was Torch, Ripper, and Buzzer were the three Dreadnoks that came out in 1985, Zartan in 84. In 86, they came out with four more Dreadnoks. Quite a bump from three to three Dreadnoks, and then Zartan 4. They made a total of 8 in 1 year in 1986. Let's see some Dreadnought jams going here. Now, they only made 3 of this figure. This is Xandar. And I'm doing the Xandar and Zorana first, and then the 2 new Dreadnought recruits. Xandar and Zorana are definitely Dreadnoks. Unlike Zartan, who can lead the Dreadnoks and come back, and he's the Dreadnought leader, but Zorana's kind of the queen, and there is a contender to that title as well. But here we go. This is Xandar, and he and Zorana had the color change plastic, so fixing this figure is a bear. You have to pop it open, and I had to, because when the O-rings go, you have to replace them. And I did this one really good. My original Xandar, I cracked all to hell, and it just so happened that my brother had one that he gave me years later, and I was able to open this one successfully without cracking it open and cracking the plastic. This plastic is, because of the color change stuff, is really kind of soft, but yet when it gets old, it gets not brittle. It gets like almost waxy. It's kind of weird, but kind of cool at the same time. And that's the vintage Xandar. They did come out with one in the 25th anniversary line, but it was like in 2015 as part of the 50th anniversary, if I remember correctly. And I got him on a motorcycle because I got him a badass bike. And he rode a motorcycle on the cartoon that wasn't as cool as this, I have to say. So I managed to pick out a great bike for Xandar. Fits him very well. Now, he and Zorana are twins. Now, that's something I learned just within the last few years. It wasn't something that is on their file cards or anything. That's just newer canon. And so they kind of feel each other's emotions, and they don't have a telepathic link or anything, but they're twins, so they have that kind of bond. And this Xandar is really badass. I really like it. It came with the Dreadnought 7-pack and for the 50th anniversary. And there you are. That's how we roll. The classified box for Xandar now. This figure is dynamite. I mean, it's he's okay. Well, yeah, I haven't been telling you the numbers. Ripper was 102, Torch was 123, and Xandar is 145. Now, like I said, he came out in 1986 originally, but this came out last year, and I thought they did a really good job on updating the Xandar. And we're looking at the classified figure. Take a look here at a comparison to the vintage and the new one, the classified version. So here is the classified Xandar. Now he has a holster for this really badass blade. He has this almost part axe. It's a really wide blade, and yeah, check out Xandar's video and you'll see those accessories. But yeah, because my Joe take on Xandar was last year in the summertime. Part of this season, probably the biggest season this show's ever going to have, because I don't know if I'm ever going to be crazy enough to do what I did last summer again. I'm going to do something cool this summer, but not like that. I had a movie clip every week from my G.I. Joe Lady Blood Right that I still need to finish, but I showed off like 11 clips for, well, this year was 11, the preamble, and 10. And so here's the vintage and the classified together. And I thought the update was much better. And he had the same guy doing his voice in the cartoon as Optimus Prime, believe it or not, Peter Cullen himself, from Transformers, if you know what I'm talking about. You know your G.I. Joe, you probably know some of your Transformers, at least a little bit, because they crossed over in the Larry Hamaverse. Take the battle stand right off, set him over here. All right, Xandar's file card, and then we'll look at Zorana. Let's do this.
G.I. Joe is the code name for America's daring, highly trained special mission force. Its purpose, to defend human freedom against Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world.
that has ever met him can remember what his voice sounds like. His anonymity was no accident. He worked at it all through his 40 years, and after he grew up, he got even better at it.
All right, Xandar. Hope you guys like the Xandar. We're getting to Zarana now, who's arguably one of the coolest Dreadnoks ever, and not the only female. There are actually 3 female Dreadnoks, one of which I do not own. We'll talk a little bit about her later. Near the end of talking about these figures, because we got quite a few figures to get through. Now, Zarana, I actually had like 2 different versions of her come out. I only have the one. And it's the same figure, just different paint, face sculpt. And one had earrings and one didn't. And I have the one that doesn't have earrings for whatever reason. I don't know why. Maybe they just didn't paint it. I don't know. But it's just a variant of the same figure from 1986. Now, she came with like this weird gun with like a spinning blade on it and then a backpack. But in the classified, they took her backpack that looked really cool. That was just one solid piece and made the top part of a blade that charges up and heats up. It's really cool. I like to check her video out for that. Let's look at the classified box here. Yeah, just the regular stuff on the back for her. She's number 48 in the series. Xandar was, if I get 146, I'm pretty sure I told you Xandar. So, and then this is the front. I prefer the character on the front and the window packaging. It's pretty cool. What sucks is that when they didn't have the window packaging, they just had the boxes like Torch, Buzzer, and Ripper. I mean, they have these cool foot lockers that could hold other accessories, which was really cool. This sometimes, if they don't snap in properly, they just fall down in the box and don't stay very well. Hers happened to snap in pretty good. So that is Zarana, and here is her classified figure. I'm digging this one. She has, unfortunately, she had the Lady J syndrome, where you could take off her hair and swap it out for a different hair piece. But I like this one the best. So check out her video to see the other one, because I do show them both off. She does have a second blade, a holster. I took that blade out because where it's at right now, if I put it forward, then it's okay, but it snaps in there really good. So I don't mess with that one. Because if you leave them in the holsters and stuff, they actually warp and bend, and it really kind of sucks. And I don't like to do that. So yeah, here is the new Zarana compared to the original, and I think you agree. I think they've done an outstanding job of making this character look so much better. All right, so like I said, Queen of the Dreadnoks. We'll get into a little bit more of that. Now, I do not have a 25th anniversary one of her, so I do not have her on a motorcycle. Because I don't want to. I do put her on a motorcycle sometimes, but she doesn't stay very well. And I got a really cool one for her. Right now, I have Xandar on that motorcycle. And I do have more motorcycles than I have Dreadnoks, so I have more than enough to keep them all on a motorcycle. And I could have put her on one, but it doesn't. She doesn't stay right. And she just kind of falls off. And I'd rather not break my vintage Zarana, because that's the second one I had to acquire. My original one, I let a kid play with that I was babysitting, and they took it home with them, and they never brought it back. And I'm like, oh, damn. Okay, so that's gone. Such is life. All right. Here is Zarana's file card, and I'll set up the next one, Monkey Wrench.
G.I. Joe is the code name for America's daring, highly trained special mission force. Its purpose, to defend human freedom against Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world.
Cobra, code name. Zarana, Dreadnok leader. File name, unknown. Birthplace, unknown. Primary specialty, intelligence. Secondary specialty, sabotage. Zarana is the sister of Zartan and Xandar, a professional assassin. She is an expert in small arms, explosives, and edged weapons. Zarana is a master She has short, naturally auburn hair, which has been dyed pink, or sometimes red, and is usually depicted with a tattered hot pink t-shirt and blue pants. Her pink shirt resembles the torn scarf worn by her twin brother Xander. She is the older of the twins and often the unequivocal leader of the two. She and Xander speak between themselves in shared poetical language, echoing each other's words and ideas. I disguised myself as Zartan once and tried to fool the Dreadnought gang. They said I didn't smell right.
Give that one a kind of a British punk feel to it. I like to make these file cards. They come out pretty good sometimes, and that one was decent. All right, so we got Monkey Wrench now. Here is the vintage 1986 Monkey Wrench. Cool figure. Fits right in with the rest of the Dreadnoks. Not so much his co-conspirator that came out that year. Thrasher kind of doesn't look like it fits in the Dreadnoks. He's more Mad Max, and they're more biker gang, which is cool because the idea was kind of Mad Max. All right, no battle. We'll go no battle. He doesn't need to stand up anymore anyway. So there he is. That is the 1986 Monkey Wrench. Now in 2006, I'm pretty sure, as part of the Collectors Club, they came out with this version of Monkey Wrench, which I thought was really cool at the time. And I didn't acquire this till like last year or the year before. It does have this really badass Dreadnought symbol on the back. And yeah, he's got a hole there in his trench coat. I thought this the trench coat idea was pretty cool. And it came with these two shotguns that can slide into these holes right here, but they don't stay very well. But that was the idea, so he could pull his shotguns out of his trench coat, hide them, and keep them concealed. And yeah, I tried to put this figure on a bike. I had to take the trench coat off, but it's a pain in the butt to put it back on. So I'm not doing that again. But yeah, there's the 2006 Monkey Wrench. Now they did come out with one with the 25th anniversary. So I got this bad boy on a bike, and he looks very much like the original, more so than that 2006 one did. I got him on a decent Harley Davidson that I thought that kind of just fits Monkey Wrench. It's very sleek and like techno a little bit, very tech, ninja style of motorcycle, as it were. But he's into gadgets and tech and technology, so I thought that was a better fit for him than one of the bigger bikes. But this one's pretty cool. I will drop my Dreadnought. There he is. That's the Monkey Wrench on the motorcycle. Now, let me grab the box because of course. Oh, I did grab the box. Oh, no, I didn't. I'm looking right at it. He is number 167 in the line. Now, Monkey Wrench. I thought this update from Monkey Wrench was just so cool. And we'll be taking a look at it. But the artwork, he came with this gas mask, which is what they got him in the artwork. I wish they'd have done him more towards the original style, but they've got the gas mask in there. So I'm going to show him off like he does the original. But I did, just with the last deal, sometimes the accessories fall out and don't stay in very well. Wish they had the foot lockers on the bottom or something. That would be cool. I don't know why they don't do stuff like that, but it is what it is. But yeah, I in his video, I did a mashup with him and Dialtone from 1986 in January. So check that one out. That was just a couple episodes ago, really. And this You can check out all these accessories in that video. So that is the box for Monkey Wrench. Now we'll look at this figure, because man, they have really the glasses. They didn't screw it up on this one either, like they did with Buzzer. And they didn't make it a solid piece like they did with Torch, which was cool because the glasses don't come off, but at the same time, it's cool that you can take the shades off. I mean, that's just badass. I think they got it right with Monkey Wrench and with Ripper. So there they are side by side. Like I said, a very decent update on this figure. So Monkey Wrench looking cool as a Dreadnought. There we go. All right, I'm gonna play his file card and I'll set up Thrasher. Now, like I said, I wish I had my Thunder Machine to show you, but it is in a shambles. It's just not worth showing, to be honest with you. And if I do a Thrasher video, if they bring a Thrasher out, I will try to acquire a newer Thunder Machine for that video. And if he comes with the Thunder Machine in the classified line, that would be very cool, because then we just show that one. And I'd like to buy one, but Monkey Wrench. Here's his file card, and then we'll take a look at the next one.
G.I. Joe is the code name for America's daring, highly trained special mission force. Its purpose, to defend human freedom against Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world. Code name Monkey Wrench. Dreadnought Demolitions. File name Bill Winky. Birthplace Rill, North Wales. Primary specialty demolitions. Secondary specialty civil disturbances. Monkey Wrench was born on Guy Fawkes Day, which in Britain commemorates the foiling of the gunpowder plot. As a youth, he built explosive devices for terrorists and had made himself a pariah in his hometown by age 16. He drifted to London's East End to take part in a new wave movement, developing rudeness and crude anti-social behavior. His wandering eventually brought him to Australia, where he joined the Dreadnoks. He is first seen allying with Zanzibar to steal already stolen gasoline from the Dreadnought station. Despite initial beatings, the two join with the other Dreadnoks in defending Cobra Island from a missile pointed at it. Despite a running battle with Hawk and several unofficial Joes, the weapon is safely neutralized. Later, Thrasher, Monkey Wrench, and Zorana are part of a team overseeing a Cobra terror drone base in the country of Sierra Gordo. When the country erupts in civil war, the three take Thrasher's Thunder Machine to a local airstrip where they take several civilians hostage. This gets them transport from Wild Bill, Crazy Legs, and Maverick of the G.I. Joe team. Eventually, the Dreadnoks, Joes, and the civilians willingly work together in an ultimately successful attempt to escape to safety. Monkey Wrench also is seen teaming up with a Televiper as part of a large effort to capture Clutch and rock and roll. The two Joes had learned Broker Beach, a New Jersey town, was being run by Cobra and the Dreadnoks. Me hobbies are heavy metal and explosions. Loud explosions.
All right, that's a cool file card. Now I have 3 Thrasher figures technically, because I ended up with a second vintage one, but I only had parts for the vintage one, his torso and his arms, and so I ended up giving him a different lower half, a mainframe crotch and dusty legs. But there's my Frankenstein Thrasher. This is my desert Thrasher is what I like to call him. Interesting that it was mainframe and dusty, because they went on that really cool mission together in the comics. You know what I'm talking? If you know, you know. If not, never mind. Because I was going to talk comics too, but we just got too many figures to look at tonight. And I've been talking the comics in the Dreadnought, the individual episodes. So that's my Frankenstein Thrasher. But here's my vintage Thrasher. And he came with like this stick with a lacrosse. It was almost like a lacrosse stick with a ball in it. So it was kind of cool. I call it a mace myself. But this was actually a really cool figure that came with the Thunder Machine. And like I said, I have my Thunder Machine, but it's thrashed and it's in my storage area. I wasn't able to get it out, and I'm so glad my Doom Cycle I had already had out for Storm Rider for later. But there's the vintage Thrasher. Now, they do not have a classified version of Thrasher yet, so I'm showing off all my Dreadnoks anyway tonight, even the ones that don't have classified. But they did have a modern 25th anniversary style of Thrasher that came with the Dreadnok 7-pack. So I got him on a motorcycle. And yeah, he should be on the Thunder Machine, but they did not come out with another Thunder Machine for the 25th anniversary. Or this came out like for the 50th anniversary in like 2015. So there he is. A really cool update, and they called him Thunder and not Thrasher. I don't know why. I guess they lost the rights to the code name of Thrasher. Really? It was weird, but there's the vintage. And so I don't have the vintage. I don't have a classified for you to look at of Thrasher, but I do have his file card. And so we're going to listen to that right now and check that out. And then we're going to head on to 1987. That was 1986 for Dreadnoks. Zorana, Xandar, Monkey Wrench, and Thrasher. So we got more to go. So let's keep it going.
G.I. Joe is the code name for America's daring, highly trained special mission force. Its purpose to defend human freedom against Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world. Code name Monkey Wrench. Dreadnok Demolitions. File name Bill Winky. Birthplace Rill, North Wales. Primary specialty demolitions. Secondary specialty civil disturbances. Monkey Wrench was born on Guy Fawkes Day, which in Britain commemorates the foiling of the gunpowder plot. As a youth, he built explosive devices for terrorists and had made himself a pariah in his hometown by age 16. He drifted to London's East End to take part in a new wave movement, developing rudeness and crude anti-social behavior. His one...
Seems to me like I played that one already. I was meant to play Thrasher. I'm sorry. Here we go.
Dreadnoks! Code name Thrasher. Dreadnok driver. File name Bruno Lacrosse. Birthplace Brussels, Belgium. Primary specialty demolitions. Secondary specialty civil disturbance. Thrasher was spoiled as a child by his middle-class parents, who never disciplined him in fear that this would stifle energies he might need later in life. They never denied him anything he asked for, no matter how many times those things wound up causing some type of destruction or major disaster. After his parents were crippled in a car wreck, which may or may not have had anything to do with Thrasher's repair work on their brakes, this wild child wandered into the swamps where he could do what he pleased. There he met Zartan and the Dreadnoks, who welcomed him in as one of them. But even by Dreadnok standards, Thrasher is pretty low, almost deriving pleasure from inflicting misery and suffering on others. Thrasher cobbled together what he calls his Thunder Machine from parts of various car, a jet engine, and his dual synchronized penetrator Gatling cannons. Makes you wonder what we need Zartan and his baby brother and sister for.
All right, Thrasher. Now we're back on track. So as of 1986, the Dreadnoks had 8. And then in 87, they only brought out one more. And it came with a vehicle. It wasn't a very good vehicle. Like I said, it was a little air skip for a Dreadnok Pirate. Interesting. It looks cool. The artwork, the toy itself, I love the little hammer and spear that came with it. Well, it came with him because he was technically a deluxe figure. And as far as I know, they only ever came out with 2 Zanzibar figures. So here is the Dreadnought Pirate Zanzibar 1987 figure. They had a lot of cool figures come out in 1987, and he was no exception. Not a very popular Dreadnought, not even with the Dreadnoks themselves, but you know, it is what it is. They continue the Dreadnought sub team, and oddly enough, it was that year that they actually started doing other sub teams. They started the Battle Force 2000 at the end of the year into 1988. Most people count Battle Force 2000 as 1988 figures, but I bought them in 1987. I remember I was there. Got them all. And most of them I got in 1988, though I have to admit. But I did buy the figures in 1987. It was the vehicles I ended up getting in 88. So maybe the vehicles didn't come out until 88, but the figures did in 2 packs. And then they came out in single packs, which is, I'm pretty sure I bought them in singles packs. But here is Zanzibar. And I like the update. He came with a big old sword, and he looked very, very pirate-like. I mean, you know, there he is. And that's the only 2 Zanzibar figures I think they've ever produced. And they can easily make an air skiff or just have him come out without one. I mean, I think we'd all be fine with that. So that we have the last 2 vintage Dreadnoks in the classified line. There's just him and Thrasher. That's it. They have all the rest from the original vintage line from 82 to 94. So there's Zanzibar. I'm going to put this bike over here because I'm going to go over all the bikes one more time before we wrap things up with the figures. But there is the Dreadnought Pirate. All right, I'm going to play his file card, and I'm going to get set up for the 1988 Dreadnought that came out.
Dreadnoks! Codename Zanzibar Dreadnought Pirate. File name Morgan Teach. Birthplace Cayman Islands. Primary specialty nautical pilot. Secondary specialty thief. Zanzibar was raised on a garbage scow, spending most of his formative years picking pockets on crowded piers. He tried river piracy, stock fraud and smuggling, but felt that these were too much like real work and not nasty enough for his taste. Zanzibar was immediately taken on as a dreadnought when he delivered a load of bootleg gasoline to Zartan's filling station. However, due to his selfishness, penchant for stealing, and poor personal hygiene, his disposition is so nasty that even the other dreadnoughts don't like him. Zanzibar overplays the role of a pirate, raiding waterways aboard his air skiff, and even speaking with an excess of bluster. Zartan keeps him on retainer, mostly to keep an eye on him. Many of the dreadnoughts also suspect that his eye patch is simply for show. I sold Zartan this air gas, and now I'm stealing it back.
So of the 11 Dreadnoughts that came out in the vintage line, Zanzibar and Thrasher are the only 2 that haven't come out with it, both vehicle drivers. They were their only vehicle drivers other than Zartan, who came with his, he was a deluxe figure that came with his Chameleon, which I showed you. That was a lot of fun. I love that little thing, but I keep it really safe. I keep it up there safe and sound. But okay, 1988. They did come out with a Dreadnought. Then they only had one more Dreadnought after that in the vintage line in '89. And we'll talk about Road Pig here a little bit. They did come out with a Road Pig in the '90s, but it was the same figure of the 1988, just repainted with orange hair and looked ridiculous. And that's the one that was in the Deke cartoon. And other than that, he was never in the cartoon, but he was in the comics, and he was a really cool character. It's kind of got a split personality. Both personalities, however, are in love with Zorana. And so he would do anything for him in the comics, including bust into a police station and break her out. And he just mowed through the small town police station like it wasn't even there. He rode through, kicked the crap out of everybody, including law and order who were in there. And the cops were like, "Hey, aren't you going to help me?" Because I'm under arrest. On that law was pretty funny, but his law got arrested, and it took him a while to get. Law showed up to get it. So two other Joes out of jail. He wasn't arrested, but yeah, he was like, "You want me to help you with that?" So yes, this is Road Pig. Supposed to be the ugliest Dreadnought. Also the biggest. This Dreadnought is just one tough bruiser. And I feature him heavily in my Lady Bloodright movie and the clips that I've already shown for that in this season over the summer. Badass. Check him out for the Road Pig, not for the Road Pig video, but for Grunt's video, he was in that a lot. And I do have a Road Pig video. I started the season off with, I think I ended season 2 with Road Pig and Dogs. So yeah. They've already got classics. They're on a classics episode already, and we'll talk a little bit about the classic episode because I got 3 more of those for you this season before I quit doing Joe Takes for a little bit till summertime because man, I got some stuff planned. So all right, so here is the 25th anniversary Road Pig. Other than that one in 1991 or 2 that they came out with for the Sonic Fighters, which was really crap. This was the only other vintage Road Pig that I'm aware of that they came out with. And he came in that Dreadnought 7-pack. And I just had to have that thing. I managed to get the money at the time, and it was available. And I'm like, yes, I want that. And I bought it. And I did not regret that one. It was really expensive, like $250. But for me, I don't have that kind of money to spend on G.I. Joes very often. But it was like for my birthday. And I was like, yes. And so I got birthday money, and I got me some Dreadnoughts. So this is a badass looking Road Pig. It kind of reminds me of Billy Idol. I call him the Billy Idol Road Pig, but you see why. Now, the classified Road Pig is another story altogether. I'll show you the box. And I'm really running out of room here for boxes and figures, but not just enough on my table here. But this is the classified box. He is number 135 in the series, and about to see why he's considered a deluxe figure because this version of Road Pig comes with a Rottweiler, a massive, I don't even know if that's what it is, Rottweiler, because it's not the right color, but it's a badass. It's a mutt. It's probably what it is, but it's badass. This is a badass dog. And all these accessories. He came with 2 hammers, his classic sledge that the original one came with. That's a cinder block on a stick. And then he came with this other one, his Road Pig Maul. And yes, badass. The dog came with 2 heads, came with a badass shield, a muzzle like Mutt does for some reason. And he came with this Road Pig mask. It's actually a swappable head. And then he came with this other head. That's a different expression for him. So cool. And I did a Road Pig video, so check out my Road Pig video. Badass artwork on the side, again, with his Road Pig mask. And we're going to set this one aside because we've got just the one more box and one more classified figure to look at. But after this one, we're going to look at Road Pig. And then get him back over here so I can compare these up after you take a look. But it's supposed to say Dreadnoks on his belly. You can see it more clearly on the box. I showed that up already. I put a skull on his shoulder pad, which I thought was a really cool addition and very much a massive improvement to the original Road Pig. And the big Stomporama boots. And I got a song for him called Stomporama 2. Not Stomporama 2, Stomporama also. That was what he said in the comics all the time. So I wrote a song called Stomporama for him. Check that out. It's on both channels, G.I. Joe Gamer and From the Hilt. But I do have some music I'll play for you a little later. I've got some of them lined up. And if you request Stomporama, I'll play it. But it's like a death metal song again. So yeah, I thought that fit him. He's got his hand crossbow, which the original one came with one that snaps on there. It's one of his accessories, but I showed it off in his video. But on this one, he had on the vintage, he had the bolts molded on and painted on like this. This is actually strapped on there, and it looks pretty badass. Thought it was definitely a badass upset. And those knee pads, I mean, one of them has that freaking nasty skull-looking face on it, and just it's like it looks like his mask actually. The other mask, the Road Pig mask, a little bit on his knee, and or tusk, or warthog tusk, and some warthog here in a little bit. But yes, here we go. Here is Raucus. This is his dog, Raucus. Like I said, I did take a much better look at these figures in Road Pig's video, so please check that out if you want more details on Road Pig and the individual characters, all the videos. The only one I do not have a video for is the next one I'm going to be looking at, Naugahyde. But make sure I'm not playing the wrong video this time. But there's Road Pig. I'm going to leave the dog over here because the dog is cool. But there's the vintage comparison again to the classified. Thought they did a great job on this particular figure. Another outstanding job. I still think Ripper was cooler in comparison, but this one was made quite a bit after. And man, did they nail it with this figure. And I played with this thing. I played the shit out of it in my movie. So I can't wait to get that finished so I can put it together and actually put a trailer out and have that movie out. So that would be fun, because I do have Dungeons and Just information out from the year before. And it took me a long time to make that one too, but it turned out pretty cool. So check out Dungeons and Just information too. Dreadoks aren't in that one much, but one more classified figure, and then I've got some more vintage figures to look at. I call them all vintage now if they're more than 20 years old. And all the ones I have are more than 20 years old. The last one I have came out in 2011. So it's not 20 years old quite yet, but it's from the Pursuit of Cobra line, which was one of my favorites from the 25th anniversary. Modern line is what I like to call it. All right, we're going to be looking at Naugahyde next. So he would be the last Dreadnought on the vintage line. Here is Road Pig's file card, and I'll get Naugahyde set up.
G.I. Joe is the code name for America's daring, highly trained special mission force. Its purpose, to defend human freedom against Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world.
Discharged from the Cub Scouts. Afterward, he was kicked out of a low-life outlaw gang for smelling worse than acceptable even by their standards, which led him to joining the Dreadoks as a probationary member. There, he developed
dislike the educated and refined persona of Donald and prefer the more criminal and subversive persona of Road Pig. Road Pig's arrest record includes charges of speeding, reckless endangerment, littering, assault, grand theft auto, boucherie, felony spitting, petty bribery, and passing stop school buses at high speeds. Stomper-rah. Rolling down the road like thunder.
As cool as that is, we'll listen to that song later, Dreadoks, because it's a great song, and a lot of people love it and like me to play it. Here is the 1989 Naugahyde, the last of the new characters. Now, I actually think I have the hat on. No, I have the hat on correctly. This looks weird. Compared to the new one, I've been looking at the newer ones a lot lately because they look pretty cool. Because I've got 3 for him as well. I think that's all they ever got brought out for Naugahyde. Got 1 in the vintage, 1 in the Dreadoks 7-pack. Him and Road Pig and Thrasher, all 3 came in that. Xandar. Let me see who else came in that 7-pack. Zanzibar. Yeah, they did, and I got another one to show you a little bit. Yeah, I knew the new character. Well, they had one other figure of this other new character, and I'll talk about her in a bit. But there is Naugahyde. I love the mutton chops on this boy. That mustache just goes all the way up to his ears. Pretty cool. I dig that figure. I mean, he had for a vintage figure, he had a knife that would go slide right into that little slot right there on the figure. He has a gun molded on down there, and the hat. And without the hat, he's bald, but he doesn't look bad bald. Actually, he's one of the few figures that doesn't. And there you go. I mean, that's the vintage Naga. I'm sitting down. He came with a warthog. The warthog, for as far as I know, the warthog was originally named Clyde. I don't know where that term came from, that the warthog's name is Clyde, but everybody always called the warthog Clyde. I don't care. I liked it. It was kind of cool, Clyde. He was just a badass little warthog. And Naugahyde came with him, which was neat to have another figure that came with a warthog. Now, the one that came out in the 7-pack did not come with a warthog. I happen to have 2. See if I can grab it real quick. I don't think I have it over here. I think it's in my box. The box, yeah. But I do have 2 of these. So it's really cool. They renamed the warthog to Pork Belly. I don't know why. I think Clyde's a cooler name, but Pork Belly works too. Maybe it's a different one. Maybe he ate Clyde. I don't know. But I got a really cool bike for Naugahyde. He's on a bike. And Road Pig had to get a big old bike to put him on. But this guy fits on this one really well, and I found one that really works. These bikes are, like I said, by Maestro. They're really awesome. I bought them all at Walmart. I think you can probably get them online. I thought it was a good series that fit my Dreadnought figures really well. And yeah, this hat does come off, but like I said, it's a way cooler Crocodile Dundee style bush hat. Wakando has one of those too on the go-to. Yeah. So yeah, but he didn't come with like the knife accessory in the boot or any of that, or a gun. It was a good figure for what it was. I mean, they did put him together pretty well. He looks like Naugahyde, so I really am not going to complain about that one. See if I can get him over here with the rest of the bikes. We've got a few left to do here. All right, let's take a look at this box. And you'll notice that there are 3 names on there with Naugahyde. Well, Naugahyde and 2 other names, so a total of 3. He's number 125 in the series. You see there, 125. There is Nagahide, and as you can see, there's another little animal on there, and we'll be taking a look at Yabo. I never can remember the name of these dudes, Pork Belly and Yabo, that come with Nagahide, but they're really cool. The articulation on the Warthog isn't very good, but there is some. There's absolutely none on the monkey Yabo, so there it is. But the artwork was badass. This guy actually came out before Road Pig. Like I said, Road Pig was number 135, so like 10 figures later, Road Pig came out. Road Pig should have come out before him, but I guess they were really jazzed to do this figure because of the Warthog and the monkey, and they turned out pretty good. It's all set aside. You got the Warthog, Mr. Pork Belly. I don't know why. Like I said, it's Pumbaa. I mean, it looks like Pumbaa to me. The tail moves. You can spin it around. You can pose it a little bit. It's just a soft plastic, really. And then the legs move forward, and there's bendy parts, but it doesn't have the articulation like say the dogs do. But I guess for a Warthog, that's about all the movement they really have. And the back legs can move too a little bit, and they bend at the joints. The hooves are pretty cool. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a close-up look at Nagahide, and you can see all his accessories and stuff. In that video, I'll be doing this summer. He's in my summer lineup, I'm pretty sure. I'll look real quick. He's got this little monkey Yabo with this. He's got an eye patch. This poor little dude lost an eye, I guess. Let's see if I can get a better look at him. So yeah, he's got a little badass monkey, but absolutely no articulation. It's just a little, hard to soft plastic. Feels like one of those little plastic dinosaurs I used to collect as a kid. I wasn't really big into dinosaurs, but they had them for real cheap at the little liquor stores and stuff, and I got them as a kid. Way when I was way. So yeah, that's little monkey, Yabo, and then you've got the classified Nagahide, who also does not have the slot on the boot for the knife. He has just a regular knife sheath, and his knife does slot in there pretty good. And I think they did a good job of making this look more like the vintage than the 25th anniversary one from the Dreadoks 7-pack looked. The hat was cooler. They made it look more like the one. They had some improvements on both, and so from there to here, I think the classified version is 100 times better. He does have a spot for another knife back there, which he doesn't on the vintage, so that's an improvement. He does have a strap with grenades on the back. There it is on the back. It's not grenades, it's a knife. That's a molded on knife there. The classified actually has one where you slot the knife in and pull it out. I've got it in the box with the other accessories. He's got this necklace of teeth and dog tags, so it insinuates that he's South African. So I'm guessing maybe he was in the South African military at some point. Seems how he's got dog tags, but they don't mention that in his file card. It's just a little detail they added to this particular figure and the vintage. He had the bone necklace and the dog tags. And let's see, on the 25th anniversary one, yeah, he sort of does. He sort of has them on there, so that's kind of cool. Now, rumor, mill, it might be that he killed a soldier and stole their dog tags. But I'm thinking with the skills that he has as a tracker and everything, that he was military. And he's South African. He was like a tracker for the South African military. I don't have any doubt that he was disillusioned by that life. Got that anarchy tattoo on his shoulder there. So I'm thinking he went all out. And his mutton chops are way cooler on this figure. So they did the head sculpt really good on this one. So there's Nagahide. All right. I am going to play Nagahide's file card. And then we're going to talk about some figures that do not have classified. One of them is getting a classified this year. We'll be talking about her. And then we're going to be talking about one of my favorite Dreadnoks next to Torch. And who comes with a motorcycle, actually. in the G.I. Joe line, but it's a little different. It's not as ridiculous as the Dreadnought Trike that they came out with in 1987, but yeah, it is what it is. At least they came out with something for the Dreadnoks in that year, because they had a Dreadnought Swamp Fire the year before. They had Sears exclusive Dreadnought Assault packs with G.I. Joe vehicles, all repaints in different colors for the Dreadnoks. But the Warthog. We got some G.I. Joe classifieds that we looked at, all the classified figures. So next up, we'll just be looking at some older figures. Now they're all from 2000 or later, and I'm not 100% sure on the years, nor do I really care. Yeah, Dreadnoks are, they're really cool, and I like them, and I'm glad I have the figures. Well, I care, but I don't care enough to worry about it in this episode. Here's Naugahyde, and I'll be right back.
Dreadnoks! Codename Naugahyde. Dreadnought Poacher. File name Clyde Naugahyde. Birthplace unknown. Primary specialty hunting. Secondary specialty survival! Codename Naugahyde. Naugahyde! Naugahyde! Codename Naugahyde is an aggressive hunter who considers all animals to be lesser life forms, suitable for skidding, eating, or stuffing his pet warthog. Clyde is somehow an exception to this viewpoint. Naugahyde believes in living off the land and regards the falseness of civilization as a sign of weakness. Therefore, he refuses to use deodorants or cosmetics of any kind and will not eat processed food or wear synthetic fibers. This is also due to the belief that such practices would warn the animal kingdom of his murderous presence. Naugahyde was chased out of Africa by his fellow poachers for cheating at cards, smelling bad, and being generally obnoxious. He was subsisting on his earnings as a freelance fur stealer when he was recruited by the Dreadnoks at an all-night donut and grape soda shop. I haven't had this much fun since I mowed me lawn with a flamethrower!
That's Naugahyde. That is all the vintage Joes. Like I said, there's only two vintage Joes that they do not have a classified for. That's Thrasher and Zanzibar, both of which were their vehicle drivers. I hope they do come out with them. I don't care if they bring them out in the vehicles. We just need the figures. It would be nice to get a Thunder Machine, and I wouldn't mind the air skiff. In classified, they might even be able to make it way cooler, and it wouldn't be that big of a deal. I mean, they made Serpentor and the Air Chariot, which I don't own yet. Love to have that one. So that figure looks so cool. But anyway, we're talking Dreadnoks. And in the early 2000s, at a convention, they came out with like 10, 6 to 10. I can't remember exactly how many. They called them Dreadheads, and they were like Dreadnought. They were like plebes who were trying to get into the Dreadnoks, and whether they succeeded or not, it was part of the convention pack. And in that pack, I think they came out with some of the original Dreadnoks too, and they were just like repaints of some of the older Dreadnoks, and they just renamed them and made them look a little different. So it was a weird thing that they did for that convention, but cool, And if you had that set, awesome. But it's like expensive as all get out now because it was only a convention exclusive. But they did in the early 2000s as part of the Spy Troops. Came out with a Dreadnought, a brand new one that they call Burnout. He's their Dreadnought mechanic. Hey, Purr, what's up, buddy? I'm just talking stuff. I'm not going to do any spoilers tonight. I'm just talking characters. Dread knocking out. I see. Yes, sir. I am. But welcome in, Perv. Good to see you, bro. Been chatting it up and had quite a lively audience tonight. So, you know, not talkative as much, but I've got a lot of people popping in and out, and I appreciate that. Thank you guys for coming in, and I'm going to do the StreamYard bit if comes up. There we go. And also thank you do the like, share, subscribe thing over on the G.I. Joe Gamer channel. I'm not monetized over there. You know, it's not picking up as much as I would hope that it had by now, just because all my G.I. Joe stuff over there too. But everything is over also on From the Hilt, which is monetized. So do like, share, and subscribe over there too. I've got links on both channels pinned at the top. And you know, we have memberships over on From the Hilt if you want to support the channel and help us out. And we have less than a zero budget right now, or even way less. But that's just life, you know. Things happen and then things turn around. But here's Burnout, the Dreadnought mechanic. Also, the first African-American Dreadnought mechanic. Jesse Purse saying hi. All right. I have roused at my bro, and so I roused at you too, Jess. That's funny, bro. But yeah, Burnout was pretty cool. Now they only came out with one other Burnout figure as far as I know. This would make a really cool classified figure, either one, because they look way different. Because they were into dreadlocks for African American characters. Stalker even got one in the Pursuit of Cobra line for the 50th anniversary, and in that Dreadnought 7-pack I'm talking about. You didn't know there was an American Dreadnought? Yeah, there are a few. Yes, there's a few, and we'll be talking about them. We've talked about all the non-American ones, and now we're talking about American ones. And yeah, this is Burnout's second figure. Like I said, these are my motorcycles that I got from Target. They're from the Maestro series. Check them out. Not Target, Walmart. And they were like $4 each, you know, and I think they've increased the price to like $7 as I was getting some of the bigger ones. But yeah, this is Burnout, and those are the only two figures I have. That's not the last one I have on a bike. I got two more on bikes to show you. Looks like a Honda. Let me see. It might be. I can't read it. I can't read any little stuff anymore. I'm just better than perfect vision as a kid and a young man, and now could be a Honda. I don't know. It is what it is. There's that Dreadnought. And so I will play Burnout's file card for you, because he's a really interesting character, trained by Zartan, really cool. I think he's got a bitchin' file card. If you're from the 80s and you know, if not, never mind, right? All right, so here's Burnout's file card, and I'll get set up for the next one. We're going to be taking a look at Zartan's daughter, Zanya, right after this.
Dreadnoks! Dreadnoks. Burnout! Dreadnought mechanic. File name Walter O. Jones. Birthplace Catskill, New York. Primary specialty mechanic. Secondary specialty disguise. One of the few Dreadnought members with a practical skill. Burnout could have been an engineer if he hadn't dropped out of the top technical school during freshman orientation. A natural genius at mechanics, he became fascinated with motorcycles at an early age. His superb handcrafted custom bikes caught the attention of Zartan, who lost no time in recruiting him for the Dreadnought gang. It was Zartan who encouraged Burnout to expand his expertise to a broader range of mechanics and spark his interest in disguises with a minimal amount of study. Burnout can assume another person's body language and speech pattern with an amazing perfection, given the proper uniform equipment and credentials. Burnout is capable of infiltrating tightly guarded military installations and defeating the strictest security measures. He strongly suspects that Torpedo was responsible for blowing up his favorite customized motorcycle. I love working on and riding anything that has a throttle on a handlebar. The next best thing I like is smashing anything that doesn't have a throttle on a handlebar. Hey! I am a Dreadnok, you know.
I absolutely love that file card, the way it came out. I am a Dreadnok, you know, will throttle anything without a throttle and a handlebar. Great stuff. And his file card, that's all from his file card, so it's pretty cool. All right, so I got two more figures to look at, and then I'll give my take on the Dreadnok sub-faction and talk about some other characters that I do not own. And I'm going to take both of these, the last two, off their bikes after I show you the bikes. She's kind of stolen Zorana's bike. She keeps trying to steal Zorana's thunder in the Dreadnok gang, too. And some of the devils do continue. I don't know what they're doing in these Skybound or Skydance. I can't remember what it's, Skybound, I think. And so this is Zartan's daughter, Zanya, or Zanya, however you want to say it. She is supposed to be in the new animated series too, but we shall see. I don't know. That's still up in the air whether they're actually going to do one or not. I hope they do. That would be cool. It would be a nice continuation. She got that cool Dreadnok logo on her halter top there. And they did come out with two Zanya figures in the 25th anniversary style. This was the only one I had. They had another one that was a convention exclusive. She came with the Dreadnok 7 pack. So that's all 7 of them I showed you tonight from the Dreadnok 7 pack. They kind of wrapped things up and got all the Dreadnoks out except for Zorana. She's the only 25th anniversary Dreadnok I do not have in 25th anniversary, because they had two, but they were both convention exclusives, and they immediately went up in price to over $200. The wheels in your head keep on turning. Don't know where I'll be tomorrow. That sounds like the lyrics of a song, Jess. I hope you're okay, though. I really do. But anyway, this is Zartan's daughter, Zanya, and the only version I have of her. And I hope they are coming out with her in the classified, so I will have one by the end of the year of her, which is going to be cool. I'm digging it. I think she's already, I think she just posted today or yesterday to where you can get pre-orders. So she's on the Hasbro Pulse website. Today's energy seems either fair to low. There's a few people I know who were down. I think the weather played a part in some cases. Tomorrow is good. You know, that was me earlier this week. I was kind of bummed and down. Game cheered me up on Monday night, and I kind of slowly had a weird day yesterday, but today I'm in a really good mood. Looking forward to talking all these little figures. Let me see if I can get her back on her bike here. How many kids does Zartan have? You know, as far as we know, just the one. But who knows? You know, he's met many people he might not even know. That's what he does. Okay, what we got going on over here? Okay, Ray's sharing a video on my channel, on my Discord. So, all right, I'll have to check that out later. All right, so let's play Zanya's file card so we can learn who she is and how she came to be in the Dreadnoks as well. Zartan's daughter. Let's listen on. Let's listen into Zanya's file card.
Dreadnoks! Dreadnoks!
Zanya.
File name.
Unknown.
Birthplace.
Unknown.
Primary specialty. Espionage. Secondary specialty.
Demolitions.
Zanya is the daughter of Zartan and has inherited both his chameleon-like instincts and his vicious temperaments. Right within the Dreadnok culture of like an anarchy, a snatch and grab
considered highly dangerous, fiercely loyal to the Dreadoks, and every bit as ruthless as her father.
Like father, like daughter, mean and nasty to the core.
Now, near as I could figure, Zanya did come out after this last figure I want to look at, but he is the third vehicle driver out of 4 that they had come out. And I'm going to talk about the other one after this. The other 2 figures that are official Dreadoks that I do not own. But I do own this guy. He came out with the Pursuit of Cobra line, which was awesome. Still one of my favorite G.I. Joe lines ever. Still had a terrific time last Monday. Nothing can take that away. You are right, sir. I had a great time too. Some small group for, I think if I've been going for 5 years now, we're basically friends. That's cool, Jess. Yes, super Jess. All right. So, and I'm not meaning to brush you off at all, Jess, but the only downside I found to this bike that Storm Rider came with was the fact that you can't turn the steering wheel. But there's a reason for that. It has a gimmick, and I'll take him off the bike to give you a better look, and then I will look at the bike again, and you'll see some of the gimmicks. He came with a pistol and if I remember right, a knife, and I've got those put away. I got to marry him up to the figure again at some point, and if they ever do a classified of him, I will definitely pull out all my stuff and make sure I have all my accessories to look at for that video. But at the moment, this is the only version of Storm Rider I know to exist. And he, like I said, he came out in 2011 with the Pursuit of Cobra line, and I was eager to get a new Dreadnought. And this guy, he's got a patch on his back of his old gang. But this one actually, I think, says Dreadnoks. But he was like one of the leaders of the other gangs that Zartan took over. And he's a badass martial artist, knows his guns and his bikes. And so after Zartan took over his gang, he incorporated him into the group because this guy's awesome, according to his file card, which we'll be checking out in just a bit. But now, well, let's look at this Doom Cycle a little bit more. I mean, look at that. They had paint applications on everything in the Pursuit of Cobra line. It was like a love letter to G.I. Joe fans. It really was. And this bike is badass. And it's maybe like a trike, but you know, there's a reason that it had to be that way because it's got a gimmick. Like I said, it has this thing plugs in back here through a hose. And there's a spot to plug it into the bike, and he can take this off. And it's like a flamethrower, and it's got a blade on it in case anybody gets too close to him. But like I said, this had a gimmick. There's a button you can push, and it's supposed to unload all the weapons, but I think the front part is broken on mine. Let's see. It's been very helpful and insightful to have other people to talk with when we all deal with similar problems and we understand what it's like. Definitely, Jess. It definitely is.
Hello.
All right, so I'm going to push this button, and I'm going to see what results we get. Let's see if I can do it like this. Whoa, see just the back. Now, there is a button on the front, too. There we go. Now, this one back here, you're supposed to be able to push it. It's supposed to do all of it at once, but I think, like I said, mine is broken. And that's why you can't turn the steering wheel. But I think they could have figured it out where you could have done both. And then this stuff just folds back up. And so then he's got his weapons ready to go right there. Blam. Shotguns. Blades. Super Mad Max style. This one didn't pop out that time. It's really old. Like, this is over 10 years old for plastic. And then these blades here, and you just fold them back, and they click into place. Badass bike. Badass character. I really, really was so happy to get this, and I'm glad I own it. Try buying this on the aftermarket. I haven't even seen it, to be honest. And then there's the look of this Dreadnought. He is both Mad Max and biker. Just so cool. And he came with a badass pistol, too. So, yeah, like I said, if they come out with a classified version of Storm Rider, I will definitely break out all these old accessories and show off this in very vivid detail and talk about this character to everything we don't know about Storm Rider, because all we know is what's on his file card. So, and I hope you agree that this file card was very cool, and it inspired me to write some other cool stuff. And hope you'll see, because I got something special for you tonight too. Right at the last, before I give my take on the Dreadoks sub team, I've got something new for you that's mine, that I created, the Dreadnought I created. So if you're watching the Dreadoks ride video and seeing one and going, who the heck is that? We're going to talk about it. Here is Storm Rider's file card.
Dreadnoks! Dreadnoks. Storm Rider. Dreadnought motorcycle specialist. File name unknown. Birthplace unknown. Primary specialty martial arts. Secondary specialty infantry. Storm Rider is a member of the Dreadnought gang that works for Cobra. He is equally skilled at fist smashing brawls and complex martial arts battles. Born to ride as well as fight. He customizes motorcycles with unusual and effective weapon systems. He chases the G.I. Joe team through the city after he spots them leaving the Cobra warehouse.
And that's it. That's all we know about Storm Rider. Such a cool character. I was kind of getting things set up so I could do one last flyby here and see if I can actually show off all these guys together on this table. Now, I don't have the classified one standing up, but yeah, it's quite a collection of Dreadnoks, and I am happy to show them to you guys and share them. There we go. Let me see if I can get this out of the way for a second, the comments, but I'll put them back up. There you go. All my Dreadnoks in one place. It's a massive Dreadnought collection, I think. I hope you guys agree. Let me see if I can fix my camera now. All right. So I do have a couple more file cards to play for you. One is a Heart Wrencher, which for some reason I didn't load up. So I'll load that one up again. Heart Wrencher was a vehicle driver, another female Dreadnought that came out for the she was for the G.I. Joe Collectors Club only, exclusively for the G.I. Joe Collectors Club. Let me see, where's my Joe Takes? I got a Joe Takes link here. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I'll load it up from there. And she came with a modified, they say a Stinger, but it's actually a modified Vamp. Yeah, where's my Heart Wrencher? Storm Rider's Rasher Torch. Xandar, Zandia, Zanzibar. It's got to be up here. Chaos Heart Wrencher. There you are. Because I've got one more to talk about too after her. And not much is known about this character. Again, just the file card. Now, she has been in some of the comics that I haven't read. A lot of the Devil's Due, and like I said, Skybound, I think, is doing some stuff with all these Dreadnought characters. And so it's something I want to get into at a future date, but I don't have the funds to collect comics right now. So I had to choose figures or comics, and I went figures. So there it is. I haven't even got the new Hama verse stuff from 3. I had like 301, 303, and 305. I got odd ones, and I don't have 300, which from the IDW, where they ended the IDW line and then went over to the Skybound. But it is what it is. All right, here is Heart Wrencher's file card, and this is what little we know of this female Dreadnought. So there are 3 female Dreadnoughts officially. She was part of the Collectors Club.
Dreadnoks! Dreadnoks.
Dreadnoks.
Dreadnought driver and demolitions.
File name.
Nancy Moore. First place! Somewhere in the USA! Primary specialty! Demolitions!
Secondary specialty.
Vehicle driver.
Heart
Heart Wrencher is one of the few women tough enough
And wild enough.
to earn a place among the Dreadnoks.
She thrives on destruction and high-speed mayhem, showing the particular talent for explosives and reckless driving.
She joined the Dreadnoks after proving she could keep up with their brand of anarchic biker warfare.
What she lacks in discipline, she makes up for in raw nerve and a love of chaos that fits perfectly with Zartan's gang.
She is considered extremely dangerous, highly unpredictable, and completely comfortable operating in the Dreadnoks' smash and burn style of combat. You can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs.
And I like breaking things.
Now, like I said, that's all we know about Heart Wrencher other than what they did in the Devil's Due comics. So, and I didn't read those, so I can't help you with that. I wish I could, but check them out. Like I said, I seen I don't know, there's like something outside going on near my window. Might be a cat. Tiger was asking me what this noise was in our house. So there you have it. That's Heart Wrencher. Like I said, one of the 2 Dreadnoks I don't own, and they're like hella expensive, these last 2, and hard to find. There is noise going on. I think something's trying to get down my chimney. Yep. I'll have to check that out later. Unless it comes out and tries to check me out. Because we have had a raccoon come over our house before. But it scared the hell out of me. I'd never been that close to a raccoon. It was a baby too. I'm like, oh boy, why am I scared of that damn baby raccoon? But there I am, I never had seen one up close, so there it is. And I know they have like rabies and shit, so I don't know. I try not to mess with animals like that. There are Dreadnoks outside. Maybe. Oh boy, they'd be in the door already. Dreadnok. All right, so there's one more official Dreadnok. That would make 16 total Dreadnoks in the official G.I. Joe line, and all of these would make really cool classified figures. Like I said, Heart Wrencher, they have a vamp. They could easily do Heart Wrencher and their version of the Stinger. They have the Stinger too, and yeah, she took a Stinger because Destro stole the designs that made the Stinger from the vamp into the Stinger. That is just very odd. I have no idea. That sounds like it's coming from inside my chimney, and it's starting to bug. Backity. All right, hey, you missed the weirdness. We've got the noise coming from my chimney. They're sending the raccoon in for recon. That's good, Jess. All right, like I said, there's one more. This is an Australian Dreadnok, and he is so Mad Max. It's unreal. And Jason Voorhees all roll into one. Some people think that this is a troop builder Dreadnok, but it wasn't. This is an actual character named Chaos, and with a K. And I'm gonna play his file card for you, so you will know as much as I do. And I don't think he's been in any of the comics. So, should I set my alarm every Wednesday at 5 to nag Jess? We could start up a thing on Logan's Discord. Ooh, just kidding. Oh, it depends on what I'm doing. And Jess, I've taken your advice, and most of my shows I'm moving to 7 o'clock start. It seemed to work better. It worked better tonight for sure. And except for the Fridays from the Hilt, those will all still be at 6 for the last few episodes. I got like 1 this Friday and then 3 next month. And then after that, we're going to take a break and then for our season finale, and then we'll be back. It's not a very big break on that one. Chaos. I think I've heard of this guy. Really? I hadn't. It was a new one on me. It was Collectors Club exclusive. And they created their own Dreadnok, and he's an official Dreadnok, according to Hasbro, in the line. Here is Chaos's file card.
Dreadnoks! Dreadnoks. Chaos. Dreadnok Shock Trooper and Salvage Crew. File name! Unknown! Birthplace! Unknown! Primary specialty! Shock Trooper! Secondary specialty! Close close combat. Little is known about the Dreadnought called Chaos. His true identity is buried under layers of violence and intimidation. What is known is that he proved himself to Zartan's gang through sheer brutality and an apparent immunity to pain. Chaos specializes in shock, assaults, and terror tactics. Wearing a hockey mask and heavy armor, he charges directly into enemy positions, relying on fear, confusion, and overwhelming close quarters violence to break opposition lines. Other Dreadnoks consider him useful, but unsettling even by their standards. Pain is the point.
Pain is the point. Interesting character. He's the Dreadnought scavenger, whatever that means. He scavenges the wastelands for parts, and he's very Mad Max style. Because, you know, they couldn't make up their mind whether they were going modern biker or Mad Max, and they kind of mixed it all together for G.I. Joe and made the Dreadnoks so very cool. So much so that it inspired me to incorporate that into the backstory of one of my Fridays FTH players, AI personalities, Brad Gambison. He's a military guy, a commander in the Navy. The time that the story takes place, he was just a lieutenant commander, but this is what got him his promotion to commander. He actually, well, I'm going to play the file card, and then we'll talk about it. My character, and his code name when he was a Dreadnought was Hellbent. And he infiltrated their organization and took down a lot of what was going on with the Dreadnoks. But, you know, once they found out that he was a Joe, they were trying to kill him. So here is codename Hellbent, my Dreadnought. Or from the MAG game, actually, the military action game. Commander Gambison is the commander of the Silverado, but this is what he did before he got command of the Silverado.
Dreadnoks! Cobra! Dreadnoks! Codename Hellbent! Dreadnought Enforcer, file name Bradley C. Gambison, grade 04 Lieutenant Commander, U.S. Navy SEAL, cover identity Arthur Kimball, E6 Staff Sergeant, U.S. Army, honorably discharged, birthplace, classified, primary specialty Naval Special Warfare, Deep Cover Recon, secondary specialty. Close quarters combat, undercover infiltration. Mission equipment, customized sawed-off shotgun, concealed SEAL comms rig, heavily modified Dreadnought motorcycle. Lieutenant Commander Brad Gambison is a decorated Navy SEAL who volunteered for one of the most dangerous deep cover assignments ever authorized against Cobra's biker shock troops. Operating under the alias Hellbent, Gambison infiltrated the Dreadnoks by posing as a hard-charging staff sergeant turned outlaw rider. To sell the cover, Gambison rode and fought alongside the gang, earning respect the only way the Dreadnoks recognize. Through raw aggression, mechanical skill, and fearless combat drive, and the deeper the mission pushed him, the more convincing Hellbent became, running with the Jackals while secretly feeding critical intelligence back to command. Now the recall has come down through command, and he is once more the Joe Moss-tout. Gambison is done playing outlaw. When Hellbent finally turns on the Dreadnoks, it won't be the trail they see coming, just the last thing they never heard over the roar of his engine. Hellbent riding Jackals for life!
Believe it or not, on that particular file card, The Suno, the AI, actually faded that last line out. I don't know why, but it's kind of cool. The pain is just kind of faded out. I liked it, but I hope you enjoy that bonus file card. Hellbent, he's my character, Brad Gambison, undercover as a Dreadnought. Originally, I had that as a different character, Kimball, Arthur Kimball, but I incorporated that into Brad Gambison's backstory as his cover in the Dreadnoks. Now, I do have a music video I'm going to play for you that actually tells that story of how he eventually pulled himself out, and Grim Reaper and Kamiko Takura pulled him out of that. They're both military as well. They're all the Fridays FDA's players are military. You're welcome, buddy. You're welcome. All right, so let me play that song for you so you know a little bit more about Hellbent and his story. This is called Lost in the Howl. And then we'll chat some more, and I've got some music to play, and I'm going to give you my take on the Dreadnought sub-team. We still got a bit more to do in this massive season finale. Dreadnoughts Joe Take number 77. So I'll be right back. Here's Lost in the Howl.
Smoke on the wind, blood on my hands, a shadow in the fire, lost in no man's land. Running with the wolves, but their eyes burn cold. A hunger in the laughter, a heart and soul. Lost on the blade, venom in the grin. The jackals howl, call me brother, pull me in. Road burns hot, the night's got teeth. One step closer and it swallows me deep. Lost in the storm, drowning in sin. A voice inside screaming, don't give in. Crawling in sin till I'm spent. Still answering to the name hell-bent. Lost in the house, no chains on me. Crawl through the fire, now I'm breaking free. Lost in the house, but I won't back down. Ran with the jackals, now I tear them to the ground. Hell-bent and laughing no longer. Muskop's calling so much stronger. I'll burn it down, cut the tide, rise again, I am alive. Lost in the storm, drowning in sin. A voice inside screaming, don't give in. Crawling in sin till I'm spent. Still answering to the name hell-bent. Lost in the house, chains on me. Crawl through the fire, now I'm breaking free. Lost in the house, but I won't back down. Ran with the jackals, now I tear them to the ground. Hell-bent and laughing no longer. Moskop's calling so much stronger. Taurus and she sings my song. My heart swells, it's been far too long. Ooh, you're burning down, cut the tide, rise again, I am alive, hell-bent and laughing no longer. Moskop's calling so much stronger. Taurus and she sings my song. My heart swells, it's been far too long.
Yeah, the Dreadnoks cover in that storyline of their MC or motorcycle club was the Jackals. There is an actual Jackals motorcycle club that's completely unaffiliated, and no nothing living or dead. It's a completely fictional from my standpoint for the Dreadnoks as their cover, and that's what he busted up was they were trying to expand, and he went down to Florida and Daytona when they had the big motorcycle club meeting where they all go down there on motorcycles. It's a big thing once a year, and he ran into some of the Dreadnoks and he ended up infiltrating the group and busting up their cover Jackal's organization. Yeah, but Brad Gambison will forever have a love of riding motorcycles, shotguns, and trench coats, unfortunately. So, you know, he was into the part, and then that's you have to do that to go undercover and shit. Okay, so that's my bonus character for the Dreadnoks Hellbent. I hope you enjoyed that. My take on the Dreadnought sub team, first sub team ever in GI Joe, the GI Joe line. I was looking at that special offer thing for StreamYard, but I'm confused about how it works. It looks like you only get 7 days of access to advanced features, then I guess full price. Yeah. I'm not going to get into it. Yes, I'm barely paying for what I got. But I appreciate it because StreamYard has treated us very well, and the service is fantastic. Okay. Yeah. So they came out originally in '84 with Zartan, and then '85 with the 3 additional Dreadnoks, Torch, Ripper, and Buzzer, and that was the Dreadnoks for me the longest time. And then they brought out Xandar, Zorana, Thrasher, and Monkey Wrench in '86, and then they just added the next few there because they had 8. So they added the last 3 in the line every year after that. '87 was Zanzibar, and '88 was Roadpig, and then '89 Nagahide. All great characters. I don't know why they didn't come out with more back then, but I guess they figured they had enough Dreadnoks. I don't know. You don't know. You can do the 44 month. Yeah. Nope. I'm right there with you, Jess. So yeah, they were the first sub faction. Yeah, the Crimson Guard came out the same year in 1985 as the Dreadnoks kind of officially started, and they were all in Revenge of Cobra, Crimson Guard, and Dreadnoks. So technically, they started around the same time, but Crimson Guard wasn't considered a faction until the Classified line. They have their own. Now they have a Crimson Viper, a Crimson Alley Viper, Crimson Bat, and they have their own faction. And the Crimson Command team is Tomax Xamot and the Baroness. The Baroness in her Crimson Guard outfit is sweet, and to me, she's the leader of them. She's their head of intelligence, so she runs the Crimson Guard, with her commanders being Tomax and Xamot. And that's kind of the pyramid of the Crimson Guard. And I have a song called Shadows in Red where I explain that Kamiko Takura sings on my channel, so check that out. Because like I said, I've got a few songs I want to play for you, but they're all Dreadnok related. Really, I've got Dreadnoks, which everybody loves. Cold Slither is my cover of the song from the cartoon, but I've added lyrics and stuff to it. I made it a full song, basically. So some of it's mine and some of it's from the cartoon. And then, let me see here. I'll be playing my On Joe Take 77, so you get a look at all these Dreadnok classified action figures. I thought about doing some videos of the vintage, but I don't really know how I want to go about doing that. So I may do that next season, but up to this point I haven't in the first 3 seasons. But I have shown off a lot of them. I'm glad this season I started showing the 25th anniversary figures because they're pretty sweet. So there you go. I mean, we wouldn't have, without the 25th anniversary style or the Pursuit of Cobra, we wouldn't have this bad boy right here, the Stormbringer. So, like I said, they were the first sub team, and I keep rambling on about that. But to me, to include a biker gang for GI Joe to fight and have Cobra hire them, that's brilliant. I mean, that's what ultimate mercenary group can you hire? I'm just going to hire a biker gang. Well, how do we know the biker gang? Because Zartan was an assassin who worked for Cobra Commander, and he killed the Hardmaster trying to kill Storm Shadow. Not Storm Shadow, trying to kill Snake Eyes. That Cobra Commander had put a hit out on Snake Eyes before there was even a GI Joe team. That trike is pretty cool. I think so too. Yeah, I think so too. It's sweet. So I'll just hold it while I'm chatting here. Keep it up on screen. But the Dreadnoks have evolved so much over the years in the comics and the cartoon. In cartoon, they were kind of silly, and they were buffoons that the G.I. Joe could just beat all the time. In the comics, they're still kind of dumb. I mean, grape soda, chocolate donuts is their beverage and snack of choice. I think that is hilarious because they're metaphors for other things. But they're serious about their chocolate donuts and grape soda in the comics. It looks like G.I. Joe has their Yo-Jo Cola. So yeah, over the years, they've had certain things happen, like Buzzer cut Mutt's dog Junkyard with his chainsaw. The Dreadnoks, the file cards. You heard one of my favorite Dreadnought storylines is with Thrasher, Monkey Wrench, and Zorana, where they took over Wild Bill's plane, and he wasn't too thrilled with that, but they ended up all working together by the end of it, which was kind of cool. They're serious, yes. Oh, I love the Dreadnoks, and if played correctly, if you have seen G.I. Joe Renegades, the Dreadnoks were done correctly in that, and Zartan was definitely the biker gang leader before he was the assassin that became Zartan, and he had taken over like several rival gangs in Australia, and one of them was led in my head canon by Storm Rider, because this guy is was definitely a leader of his own gang at some point, and he got Torch and Ripper from the same gang, the Melbourne Maulers, and Buzzer was a college student from London. So they have all these different factions within the Dreadnoks themselves. Now, what I wanted to go over was I have created an organization, MC organization for the Dreadnoks, and I am going to share my video file here and see if that works. I guess I'm going to share my screen. Let me see if I can do that, because I've got this one set up to where I can show it. I don't know how well it's going to come up on the screen there. Hopefully you guys can see that, and we can actually read it together. I'll read it on my thing here. Like I said, I tried to enlarge this, but I cannot find the zoom on the stupid Mobi Office for Microsoft. I really hate the fact that they've changed it so much that it's almost unrecognizable as a Word document. I probably need to learn how to use Google Docs, but I'm just lazy and I'm too busy doing other shit. All right, so you have the Z family. I don't know, like I said, I don't know how well you can see this. Let me do this. I'm gonna pull myself. No, I don't want myself off the thing. I want to pull myself. I'm gonna put this big full screen. Can you? Yeah, I can even read it now. So if I can read it, wow. Anyway, so the Z family is Zartan. He's the warlock and the president of the club. I got mixed of Zorana's terminology as witches and warlocks for the Dreadnoks, and the actual MC biker ranks. So Zorana is their witch queen or the vice president. Xandar is their high inquisitor, and the heir apparent is Zanya. So that's how I do that little hierarchy there. And so they're kind of doing their own thing, and they can take any of these cubbies down below to make a total coven for her witchy themed Dreadnoks, because Zorana really runs the Dreadnoks. Okay, Zartan is the president, but he doesn't really care. Just do what I say, and we'll make some money. Cubbies, interesting word choice there. Yeah, cubby is how I do witches and Linharos, so I thought I'd do the same thing here. And they're a coven all together. Each of the little three in a cubby, and each one has a road captain, an enforcer, and a tail gunner. And so the Australian originals are Torch, Buzzer, and Ripper. They all joined in Australia. Torch is their sergeant at arms as well. Buzzer's their secretary. He handles all the money because he was a college student. He's smart. He can say he doesn't know how to read and all that crap, but he's a liar. You don't get to college in where he was in college in Britain and not be able to read. And Ripper is their enforcer on that team. He's their tail gunner. And then you got the Blackguards, which you got Storm Rider as their road captain and treasurer of the entire group. So yeah, he handles. Buzzer handles all the Dreadnoks. He's like the leader. Him and Torch when there's no Z family. And then they've got the Blackguards, which is Storm Rider or Road Captain, with Road Pig and Burnout. And then the Wrecking Crew is Thrasher, Monkey Wrench, and Heart Wrencher. And Thrasher's their Road Captain because he's the smartest of the three. And Zanzibar is another Road Captain. He's a pirate captain, so yeah, I thought it was fitting to make him the Cubby leader and Road Captain Zanzibar with Naga Hide and Chaos. They're the scavengers of the group. Because Naga Hide's a scavenger too. As I was reading his file card, and I'm like, and Zanzibar's a pirate. That's kind of a scavenger. And so there we are. I'm gonna take this off the screen here, and that's my organization for the Dreadnoks. That's how I see them as a hierarchy, but how I see them as a group. I have a song called Dreadnoks. It's the Brothers in Arms song. The second Brothers in Arms I did. The very first Cobra version of Brothers in Arms I could do and think of later on. I'm going to be doing a Cobra Commander Barons and Destro. Because they have a Brothers in Arms relationship in a different way than the Joes. I mean, the Joes are like real brothers when they get together. And, I've got Spirit and Mutt. I've got a new song for them coming out. And I'm going to redo their video for the original Brothers in Arms. And then I have Alpine and Bazooka. And I have Clutch, Breaker, and Rock and Roll. And then their Surf and Road Trip. That one's awesome. But still my favorite song of the three is Dreadnoks. It came out so good. And I'm going to play it for you here. But so keep showing the Dune cycle. But so yeah, Zartan, he's their leader, undisputed. He's ninja. He's ninja category, martial artist and an infiltrator, assassin, master of disguise, you name it. Zartan is just hands down the toughest out of all these guys. And they're definitely afraid of him. They will not go up against him, any of them, not even Zorana. Interesting word of choice there. Yeah, I thought so. And I read that already, but the Cubbies I thought was a great idea. Anyway, it works for me. That's my headcanon. I can do what I want. Now, even Road Pig doesn't mess with Zartan. Zartan is a team unto himself. Yes, don't ever underestimate Zartan. You got that exactly right. So then you got Zorana. So let me do this. I was talking about Zartan here, so I'll show his classified figure. Very cool. And he's just so sinister. Yet he can do good things too. Then you got his sister Zorana, who's like she calls herself the Witch Queen. They all call her that, so she embraced that. She's like, yeah, I'm your Witch Queen, and she's a badass. And plus, she has a Road Pig to back her up. I mean, he's like hands down the Lone Zartan. He is the next toughest Dreadnok, and they're scared of him too. And well, he also doesn't smell well. So no, actually, he's not the one that's teased. But I found that to be funny. He's the ugly one, so yeah, he's hard to look at. But yeah, Zorana is their Witch Queen, and she's in charge when Zartan isn't around. And occasionally, Xandar will lead the Dreadnoks. Like I said, he's their High Inquisitor. There's no official term for him. He'd like to be a sub vice president, I guess, in an official MC, because he's above their sergeant at arms, like Torch, who's like on the hierarchy. Torch would come next, and then Buzzer. But Buzzer's smarter, so he kind of takes over, which is why he's their secretary and handles all the organization stuff for Dreadnoks. And you got your three Australian originals here. You got Buzzer, Ripper, and Torch. And what a cool way to start the line with these three. I mean, Torch has always been my favorite Dreadnok. Like I said, probably because it was the first one that I bought and had. And then I traded for both of these as vintage figures. But like I said, Ripper, didn't give him much thought. Buzzer, he's like one of my least favorite Dreadnoks, actually. But I like the concept of a college student and becoming the subject of his study. I thought that was really cool. And Ripper, man, just a dumb fucking scavenger who likes to just destroy things. Just their original enforcer, you know. So they're the three Australian originals, and I think this figure is the coolest Dreadnought figure still. He's just badass, and I'm hoping they do some cool stuff with like Storm Rider and all these OG, all these ones that they don't have: Zanzibar, Thrasher, Heart Wrencher. The Zanya figure's coming out, and she comes with the Chameleon, Zartan Swamp Skier, so that's going to be neat. Which means if they got her coming with one, maybe they'll have Zartan come with one. That would be cool. And you got Monkey Wrench, who basically in the comics showed up with Zanzibar, and him and Thrasher, which they don't have a classified figure for. This figure is just badass, so Dreadnought, and I love the tats that they put on these guys, and the scarf around his neck, and just his hobbies are heavy metal and explosions, loud explosions. Love this character. Ripper is an ape with nasty destructive tools. Wait, that's insulting to apes. I take it, yes, sir, you're exactly right. But then, Road Pig, and Zanzibar is just a weird Dreadnought pirate. So cool, though. But this Dreadnought, oh my goodness, I was so stoked when this Dreadnought came out, and my Road Pig figure is so played with, and I had such a good time with that figure. Loved him in the comics, and this classified update that came with his dog, his mutt, his badass canine companion, Raucous, just so cool. And there you go. That's Road Pig, and then you got Nagahide, their scavenger from the last of the Cubbies. I put him in with that group because it just seemed to fit. I mean, they're all scavengers, and so they're just Dreadnought scavengers, is what I call them. So and that's such a cool figure, coming with this warthog, pork belly, and the monkey Yabo. Just such a cool concept, and they had such a good time making these characters. This dude is a trip. Who do you think would win in a hand-to-hand fight? Road Pig, minus his dog, or Roadblock? Woo! Well, let me ask you this. Who do you think would win in a fight? Gung Ho or Roadblock? Okay? Let me ask you that. You answer that, and I will tell you who I think would win in a fight between Roadblock and Road Pig, and we'll see if we agree on this point, sir. So I'm done with the final cards. Got Zanya, Burnout, and Storm Rider. So I'll show these guys, these last two that I have, that I don't have classified for yet, but we'll get her because she's coming out this year. Let me see here. And then Storm Rider. And I've been showing him off like crazy because I love this bike. So just a badass character, badass bike, badassery all around for Dreadnought. Going with the Marine Gung Ho Semper Fi. Well, sir, we disagree on that point. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but in the movie, him and Gung Ho go at it, toe to toe. You think Gung Ho would beat Roadblock? I do not agree, sir. I think Roadblock would beat Gung Ho. I love Gung Ho. I mean, hell, he's my cameo, my G.I. Joe cameo Joe. He's right there. He's even making an appearance in this one. Oh. Also, he makes an appearance in my promo for this episode. So, Gung Ho Joe making with the cameos. All right. So, yeah, I agree. Gung Ho's a badass, okay? But yeah, I have them fight in my movie, Gung Ho versus Road Pig, but I think Roadblock's on another level, dude. He is G.I. Joe's ultimate tank, and I think he would beat Gung Ho. Knowing more about Gung Ho than I know about Roadblock, you know better than I. Everybody's opinion is valid, Per, and I do not dispute you, except in the fact that I disagree, because I think Roadblock. There's not many. Snake Eyes would have a tough time with Roadblock. The Snake Eyes would defeat Roadblock, but I think Roadblock would go toe to toe in a hand-to-hand fight without weapons. I mean, Dolph Lundgren versus Jet Li in the Expendables. That's all I have to say. I mean, one hit and it's over for the other guy. I mean, Roadblock is just that bad. Gung Ho is badass too, but Roadblock's the boy, man. He's one of He's my top 5 of my favorite Joes. So, but I know Gung Ho. I love that character too. Come on now, this Gung Ho. I defer to your greater knowledge here. You're the black belt in this dojo. Perhaps, sir. I do know the characters really well, and I think in the Hamaverse, Roadblock was able to, in handcuffs, break the handcuffs. I mean, that's strength, and he can wield a Mod Deuce, a freaking M60 machine gun, barehanded. No man is supposed to be able to do that. I mean, he's a fictional character, but badass. But Larry Hama said he had a buddy in Nam that did that. So, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. Didn't realize Roadblock was the tank of G.I. Joe. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, sir. And although not as bulky as Road Pig, he's as tall as Road Pig, and he's about as strong as Road Pig. So that would be a tough fight, and so I don't want to spoil my movie for you because I'm gonna have it out before the end of this year. I promise. No, hopefully I'll have it out by this summer at the latest. We'll try to have it out by my birthday in April, but I doubt that's going to happen at this point because I haven't been able to get around to filming. I don't know why. I'm just not in the mindset for it, and I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff this summer, so I want to get it done before I do that. And cool, I agree. Cool. But yeah. There's only one Dreadnok who can defeat Road Pig, and that would be Zartan. How about Jinx versus Road Pig? Think she could outsmart him and get him? I think she could defeat him, but not in a physical hand-to-hand fight. No, I do not think Jinx could defeat Road Pig in a hand-to-hand fight. If they were trapped in a room and she couldn't get away, Road Pig's gonna knock her out. She could kick him, punch him. You just stand there and laugh at her. And you got one, like with Dolph Lundgren versus Jet Li again. If you got one hit on her, she would be down. And I love Jinx. She is hands down one of the toughest G.I. Joes there is. And I mean, Road Pig, he's the tank of Cobra. There's a tank of G.I. Joe and there's a tank of Cobra. And you got to hope that G.I. Joe's tank can take out Cobra's tank. So there it is. But with her tools and he with his, still a tough one, hand to hand. If she managed to get the drop on him, I think she could take him out. Yes, but that's true of just about anybody. But if she doesn't surprise him, if she's in a hand-to-hand fight with him, I don't know. She might be able to cut him. But I don't know if that would stop him unless she got something vital. So there it is. Red power. Oh my goodness, he did it to me again. Look at this boy. What do you know? A red interruptus.
No, would my suit of armor be able to beat him?
What, Road Pig?
Yeah.
Yeah, with your suit of armor, yeah, sure. And your bioorganics, sure, why not? Yeah. Oh,
I mean, I got two swords. I can twirl at.
I do like hearing you go on and on about the ninja and in G.I. Joe, and you really enjoy Jinx. I do, dude. She's the star of my movie, dude. So yes, I love that kid. Hey, you red person. We had a red interruptus. He's been interrupting a lot lately, and that's cool. I have a lot of fun with my boys. And of course, they're frustrating me too. As adult boys, they're not the kids anymore. But that's life. We try. We get along the best we can. All right. So I'm going to take a little break because I still want to keep talking. So I'm going to play the Dreadoks song for you right now. And I'll be right back.
Dreadnoks! Rolling down the road like thunder, leather cuts, balls and guts, you'll hear the rumble. Tremble before us as we make our way. Nomads across the world, revving our engines with excess, just enough to impress. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Whoa! We are Dreadnoks, in town giving shocks. We are mean and cruel, taking everything right down to your fuel. Dreadnoks are coming, you will be succumbing. Dreadnoks.
blades, bullets, and fire. Wherever we go, trouble will follow. Disaster in our wake, making you quake. Dreadoks, or you'll be seeing us soon. A band of vipers playing our tune. Always on the move, rolling down the road, nothing to prove. Buzzer cuts them clean, Ripper will tear into your spleen. Torch will burn you alive, a trio you'll not survive. The thunder machine will run you down, Thrasher will crush you with a frown. Monkey wrench will blow you apart, while Zanzibar will rob you without heart. Dreadoks! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Whoa! We are Dreadoks, in town giving shocks. We are mean and cruel, taking everything right down to your fuel. Dreadoks are coming, you will be succumbing. Dreadoks! Led by the family Z, Xander will do it all unseen. Zorana will make you feel like a clown. Zartan will just cut you down. An army of one road pig will see you done intense. Norgahide will track your movements. Beware the doom cycle. Storm Rider is the genuine article. Burnout will keep us in repair, while Hard Wrencher will make you despair. Not to forget Daughter Z, Zanya likes going on a killing spree. Oh yeah! We are Dreadoks, in town giving shocks. We are mean and cruel, taking everything right down to your fuel. Dreadoks are coming, you will be succumbing. Dreadoks. Dreadoks are coming, you will be succumbing, succumbing. Dreadoks, roar!
I'm going to play my version of Cold Slither, and I'll be right back. I'm going to let Red show off Luna for a little bit. I'll be right back.
But
And you can sit in my chair. Or are you leaving? Are you leaving now? So I'll just play the song, and I'll be back. He's leaving now, but I was hoping for some Luna in this. But, you know, Luna, little Luna Mama Luna. Here is my version of Cold Slither. It's a cover. I took the original lyrics from the song. Everything's cool on YouTube. I can play it all I want. It's awesome. I'm glad. And then, yes, cat, sir. And then I added my own lyrics to it, so I hope you enjoy my version of Cold Slither.
We're Cold Slither, you'll be joining us soon. A band of vipers playing our tune. With an iron fist and a reptile hiss, we shall rule. We're tired of words, we've heard it before. We're not gonna play the game no more. Don't tell us what's right, don't tell us what's wrong. Too late to resist, 'cause Cobra is strong. We're Cold Slither, you'll be joining us soon. A band of vipers playing our tune. Don't tell us what's right, don't tell us what's wrong. Too late to resist, 'cause Cobra is strong. We're Cold Slither, you'll be joining us soon. A band of vipers playing our tune. metal machine through the eyes of a lizard and you will dream. When the venom stings, a new order brings our control. Cause Cobra is strong. We're Cold Slither. You'll be joining us soon. A band of vipers playing our tune. We'll come riding in quick. You'll be feeling out boot kick. Dreadoks rule. We've had it with rules. We're gonna show the world. We're gonna play our own game now. You can't tell us what to do. We don't care about your laws. You will submit, cause Cobra is strong. We're Cold Slither, heavy metal machine. With ears of an eagle, we'll show you the way. The plague will bring order and chaos. Rings in our control, in our wake. Cause Cobra is strong. We're Cold Slither. You'll be joining us soon. A band of vipers playing our tune. Playing our tune. Tune, tune, tune.
I would love to get that set with all the Dreadnoks dressed up as the Cold Slither band, Zartan, Torch Ripper, and Buzzer. It was a convention exclusive. It's still available and has Repulse, but I don't have the money to get it. It's pretty expensive. And I think it's like $200. It's one of those. It's a big set, and it comes with the stage and everything. And then film it to that song and have some fun. That would be really cool to have that on our channel, but that is not happening anytime in the future. But yeah, like there's a lot of things I'd like to do, but that's life. So to wrap up my take on the Dreadnoks, Zartan, awesome. His biker gang, incredible. The concept, I'm glad they changed it from Ewok-like creatures, which is what they originally wanted to go with. And then they did the fuzzy, what do they call it? Those fatal fluffies on Pyramid of Darkness, because they were so set on making those cute little bear creatures. Instead, they got the Dreadnoks, and I am so happy that they did, because it makes more sense for the G.I. Joe universe than fluffy little bears that turn into monsters, which is kind of a cool concept too. But I mean, I don't think it would have gone as far as the Dreadnoks have. They're still around. They're still popular. People still love the Dreadnoks. People love my Dreadnoks song. I love my Dreadnoks song. I love the Cold Slither song I put together. I've got tons. I've got Stomporama. I've got Burn It Down. I got songs for all my Dreadnoks. And thank gosh they stuck with the Dreadnoks. Yes, sir. I totally agree. Thank gosh they stuck with the Dreadnoks. So I'm about winding down here. I think I've said my piece on the Dreadnoks. So many cool storylines that Larry Hama had. He took to them, and he wasn't sure what he was going to do with them at first. I know, but man, with Zartan up in the mix and the stuff he did with Zartan in the comics, where they revealed that he was this assassin that infiltrated the Arashikage ninja clan. He's not a ninja, but he was able to get in with the swordsmith Onahashi that made the swords for the Arashikage clans, Storm Shadow's clan, and he was there to kill Snake Eyes, because Cobra Commander had a mean on for him, because his brother died in a car crash that killed Snake Eyes' parents and his twin sister. And so Cobra Commander, his brother was a drunk driver and killed them in a car crash. All of them died. But he blamed Snake Eyes for that. Somehow in his warped, crazy mind, Cobra Commander is just it's Snake Eyes' fault! I know it! Oh, anyway, I do my Cobra Commander voice at least once tonight. Dreadnoks, you bumbling idiots! Oh. I love doing that voice. But it does a lot. It doesn't love my throat. I can't imagine Chris Latta could do that. He did that for years. That voice was awesome before he passed away in 1991. But such a cool voice. And, the Dreadnoks, it fit right in with Cobra because Cobra is just that cool and all weird of a terrorist organization. We're going to hire motorcycle gang mercenaries to do our bidding because they're cannon fodder that I don't care about. Cobra Commander. So that is how I see them in the Cobra hierarchy. But as themselves, I had to break them down into the three little cubbies because the three Dreadnoks came out originally. I thought that was a neat idea. Zartan's the biker gang president. Zorana came along with Xandar. They were his family, so they became the vice president. And I had to come up with a term for Xandar because he leads them when the other two aren't around. So he's like there as a sub vice president. But I call him the High Inquisitor because I thought that was a cool witchy type sounding term because High Inquisitors took out witches. I mean, I know it's the connotations of that is just bizarre, but I thought it was fun. And then they break down perfectly into coveys of three, and other than the Z family, and Zanya's the heir apparent. So far, that's all they have for the Dreadnoks, other than the Dreadheads, which are Dreadnok wannabe plebes, not even Dreadnoks, recruits. I thought that was a cool idea, and if they did something with that, Billy Bob and Cutter. I mean, it wasn't Cutter, but they had some weird names for those Dreadnoks, and they weren't official Dreadnoks. And I don't think any of them actually made it into the Dreadnought gang. So, it was kind of like that initiation at the beginning of Rise Serpenta or Rise, the animated movie, where they were having the Dreadnought auditions, and Monkey Wrench came up and blew them all up with stun grenades. He used stun grenades. He cheated. So what? Proved he was a Dreadnought, and then Thrasher came up with the Thunder Machine. And that was a cool way to introduce those two characters in the cartoon. So many cool Dreadnought moments where Zorana falls in love with Mainframe when she's undercover trying to infiltrate the Joe headquarters, and she did. Whereas Xandar tried and Zartan tried, and they got repelled away. And then Zorana came in with her papers, and she snuck in under disguise, and then her and Mainframe fell for each other, and that's still a thing, ongoing thing. I wish they would do more with that. They had another episode where that came back up, where her and Mainframe still like each other, and she helped him. He helped her instead, where she helped him the first time around. Instead of making sure he died with the explosives she left behind, messed up the Joe subs. That was a cool episode. What was the name of that? Ooh, Brain is not braining. Oh man, computer complications. That's the name. And then the second one where they showed that they had a thing was gray hairs and growing pains, where they made some of the Joes young and some of them old. It was really cool. Some of the second season's episodes were just so cool, and they had only the few of them compared to the first season. So, love the Sunbow cartoon with the Dreadnoks. Is as Zartan and Xandar, they're all making fun of her because she fell from Mainframe. And Zartan's all, Zorana, why don't you quit the Dreadnoks? Go off and marry that wimp. And she all started shooting at the Dreadnoks and running away. Once Upon a Joe, that's a cool episode where Zartan takes a solo mission, and they have this scene where the Dreadnoks are just brawling, and Cobra Commander calls to hire Zartan, and he says to Zartan, what about the rest of the Dreadnoks? He goes, I think I can handle this solo, Commander. The Dreadnoks are having a weighty philosophical debate, and Cobra Commander goes, brawling again. And that's what they were doing. And there was a scene where Xandar comes up with a crocodile and whaps somebody. We had the crocodile by the tail and hit one of the Dreadnoks. I was like, what the hell? But badass. I mean, so Dreadnought and so not. And then in the comics, Zartan has his garage up in the north by the original Joe headquarters there at Fort Wadsworth, and in the woods up there. And then he's got his base in the Florida Everglades. And they've got little enclaves all over. And the way I'm setting it up is the scavengers are set up on the West Coast under Storm Rider. That's why you don't see them very often. And Zartan only calls them in if they need some serious reinforcements. And so there's so much that can be done with the Dreadnoks. It's just an amazing concept, and I am so happy that they are included in the G.I. Joe verse, and I get to talk to you about them and share my figures and my collection. And I hope you enjoyed this Joe take, because that's my take on the Dreadnoks. And this has hit the record of the longest Joe take ever, I'm pretty sure. I'll have to double check, but I'm pretty sure 3 hours. I don't think I've ever gone this long for a Joe take, but it's going to be a Joe take classic all by itself. That's for sure. If I ever get that far in the classic, but we'll see. I've already started on the third season for this season of Joe Takes Classics. Next 3 episodes. Next Wednesday, it's Joe Take Classic. I'm looking at Jinx and Viper, and I'll be playing those Joe Takes, and whatever I didn't have for those, I'm going to be adding stuff to it if I have anything to add to them. Same with the very next week. Take a look here. Episode 19, which will be the week after, Shadow Tracker and Quick Kick. And then 2 weeks after that, on the 15th of April, is going to be my season finale for my Joe Takes Classics, where I will be playing Night Creepers and Falcon with Coral, the Action Force character Coral that they pulled over into G.I. Joe. Yeah, I'm over 3 hours at the moment, so my voice is about done, and I need to call it quits because I ramble on and talk G.I. Joe and love it so much. And that's what I want to share with everybody is my love for this toy line, this storyline, Larry Hama's verse, the cartoons, just so good. Still the best cartoon ever was for G.I. Joe was G.I. Joe Renegades. Even though I wish they had pulled in some of the other characters that I love a lot, but they pulled in so many for that series. It's unreal. Hawk, Duke. I don't think they got Beachhead in there, but they had Airtight, my favorite characters. So on just one or two, I think they had them 2 episodes actually, and they would run into future Joes that hadn't become G.I. Well, G.I. Joe wasn't a thing yet, in G.I. Joe Renegade. So it's kind of cool. It was like the lead-in to a second season where G.I. Joe got started. I think that would have been so cool, and they were supposed to do it, but they had a writer's strike, and then it was in fucking production hell, and then they just dropped it all together, which is sad because that first season of G.I. Joe Renegades is very, very cool. So many things they did right in that series. Loved it. It was a nice update to my G.I. Joe storyline. So check out G.I. Joe Renegades. Very awesome. Dreadnoks had a great episode in that. So, they kind of covered all the bases in that 26 or 27 episode series. I have the DVDs, so I'd have to look, but it was just the one season, and it was part of the Fox thing going on. I don't remember. It's been a while. Trying to find a multi-purpose telescoping 3-ring binder with a built-in clipboard, and I said that very fast without messing up. All right, Jess. I don't know. Telescoping 3-ring binder. Okay, I don't know what that is, Jen. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up here. I've got a couple more things. I've got one more thing at least to play for you. The outro. So there's that. But I've got 2 more videos. I've got the promos. I've got 2 promos for you. I've got On Joe Take 77, which needs to be in this episode. It is a look at all the classified Dreadnok figures that I own, and shows you in this video. I need that before I can make the next adventure. Well, I get you. I got all my campaigns and 3-ring binders right down here too. So I get you, Jeff. That's the best way to go, really. All right, so I've got On Joe Take 77 for you. Like I said, with the classified figures, and then I've got my video Dreadnoks Ride, where I've got all these really nice pictures of every Dreadnok, including my own. Hellbent is in there. And then all of them together, which I managed to make a collage and composite them all, and I did that. That's my pick, and I love it, and I'm very proud of it. So I hope you enjoy it. And then I've got the outro, and then we're out for the night. So thank you. That is, thank you for being here, and thank you for being in the chat. You guys are so awesome. Thank you. If you're watching the replay, please give me a like on both channels. Nah, you just want it. Whatever you guys want to do, it's up to you. And, you know, do the like, share, subscribe thing, and, you know, and we got memberships and, you know, the YouTube algorithm, and, you know, that doesn't give a shit about me anyway. And on that note, right there, good night, my friends. That is my take on the Dreadoks, and that's going to be Logan out.
I am not a shining light, a beacon of hope. I am not the hero that you're holding out for. I am not your salvation, a saint upon your altar. I am the opposite of all that, as far from them as you can imagine. Feel the engines rev, shades on my head. Not looking to achieve a legacy before I'm dead. Heart bent and blackened, mind corrupted by a cruel world. Life's a party waiting to be opened, a door that will be unfurled. Riding, crashing, raiding, raking, Satan. I like the fear in their eyes, dropping like flies. A bit of terror and hard rock. I am Dreadnok. Knock, 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 knock. I am Dreadnok.
The stench is palpitating. I agree. That's entirely way too much Dreadnok, even for a gun old cameo.
Take you down, violence and mayhem, rock and roll, heavy metal, fire is my way. Motorcycle. Dreadnoks! Rolling down the road like thunder, leather cuts, balls and guts, you'll hear the rumble. Tremble before us as we make our way. Nomads across the world, revving our engines with excess, just enough to impress. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Whoa! We are Dreadnoks, in town giving shocks. We are mean and cruel, taking everything right down to your fuel. Dreadnoks are coming, you will be succumbing. Dreadnoks. Blades, bullets, and fire, wherever we go, trouble will follow, disaster in our wake, making you quake. Dreadnoks, or you'll be seeing us soon. A band of vipers playing our tune, always on the move, rolling down the road, nothing to prove. Buzzer cuts them clean, ripper will tear into your spleen. Torch will burn you alive, a trio you'll not survive. The thunder machine will run you down, Thrasher will crush you with a frown. Monkey wrench will blow you apart, while Zanzibar will rob you without heart. Dreadnoks! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Whoa! We are Dreadnoks, in town giving shocks. We are mean and cruel, taking everything right down to your fuel. Dreadnoks are coming, you will be succumbing. Dreadnoks.
led by the family Z. Xander will do it all unseen. Serrano will make you feel like a clown. Zartan will just cut you down. An army of one road pig will see you done intense. Nogahide will track your movements. Beware the doom cycle. Storm Rider is the genuine article. Burnout will keep us in repair, while Hard Wrencher will make you despair. Not to forget Daughter Z. Zanya likes going on a killing spree. Oh yeah. We are Dreadoks, in town giving shocks. We are mean and cruel, taking everything right down to your fuel. Dreadnoughts are coming, you will be succumbing. Dreadnoughts. Dreadnoughts are coming, you will be succumbing, succumbing. Dreadnoughts, roar! Logan's room full of Joe take dreams. Crimson Guard with eyes on the team. Snake Eyes silent and mean, but tough to rile. Roadblock rhymes and cooks with style. Duke as the first shirt, making with a plan. Cobra Commander schemes with his clan. Scarlet Sharp hits hard, flips fast. Destro's armor gleams from the past. Logan's G.I. Joe takes fierce and honest view. Red versus blue, it's up to you. Stay a while and listen for the consumerism. Logan's G.I. Joe's takes given with enthusiasm. Zartan shifting sneaks in disguise. Storm Shadow's blade cut through lies. Baron is cold with her deadly aim. Shipwreck laughs, wins the game. Doc's healing hand in the fray. Flint shotgun clears the way. Major Blood's battle cry echoes near. General Hawk leads, we cheer. From the hilt on YouTube, tune in for a day. Joe takes to help you with your play. Let's put these characters to the test. Logan's the G.I. Joe gamer, plays it best. Yo, Joe, Cobra, let's go. Let's go. Logan's G.I. Joe takes fierce and honest view. Red versus blue, it's up to you.